Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Online students, can you see me, hear me? Can someone please confirm if I'm audible? Great. Hi, good afternoon to all of you also. Welcome to this webinar for Maths Optional. So, what we are going to do here is discuss mathematics as an optional. And then I'll also take up any queries that you might have about the topic, about the subjects, about how the course is run here at Vajiram. I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Bhavna Khurana, and I take mathematics optional classes here at Vajiram. I'm IIT Delhi pass out, and I've taught in Delhi University for quite a few years, including JMC and St. Stephen's College. It's important for you to know this because I'm not a person who prepared for civil services, and I am a maths expert, if I might say so, which means that I have full authority to tell you why someone should choose maths, why someone should not choose maths, like what are the reasons for it, to take it and to not take it, and what is the journey going to be all about. And I'll begin by asking you, please allow me to, and I would hope that even though this is live, online, and everything, I hope it can be more of an interaction than a lecture, okay? Even though I am going to speak for most of the time, but still, I would like you to interact as much as possible. Have you guys, for example, ever come across people in your life who have been shocked if you have even thought about maths as an optional, or in school when you said maths is my... So anyone here who hates maths, for example? No, and nobody has forced you. Have we forced you inside? Have I caught people from outside and bribed them to come and sit here? It's only your will that has brought you here, because maths is something that people don't just walk into. And I don't want to name subjects, but if there was a webinar happening for another subject, something that you're doing in your GS, geography, history, there's so politics, so many things you study. The syllabus of GS is everything under the sun, almost. There's not any topic that's left out. So you can walk into different webinars to see what geography offers, what history offers, but nobody will walk into what maths offers just for the heck of it. You have to have a very basic understanding, basic love for the subject, I would say. Am I right in assuming that? But, and coming back to my question, have you come across anyone in your family, friends, circle who are like, oh my God, maths? Have they given you that kind of a reaction? Yes. How is that year after year after year? Everybody says a yes to this. And right now, you're thinking about that person. And are you thinking about, oh my God, these people who don't know why we love maths? So there is some amount of liking for sure. I don't know if it has translated into love or not. But I think till school level, I'll give you my perception now. You are here to hear me out. Till school, at least a major chunk of science people and even commerce and humanities people who are doing maths at that level, a chunk of it start liking it. A lot of them also take maths because they are told maths is very beneficial. Aage kaam aayega is what they're told at school level. However, people who end up doing well till school level are those people who've had some basic interest in maths. So there is formulae, but there's also a lot of doing, and there's not a lot of reading. So in school, for example, did you read these books, R.S. Agarwal, R.D. Sharma, the NCRTs? Did you read them or did you do them? Do them, right? There is hardly reading in it, even though it's not like there is no remembering. Formula has to be remembered. Any type of a question, you keep it in your mind that this is how it has to be done. But then you have to inculcate. Okay, can you look into the volume issue people are pointing out? Okay, we'll look into the volume issue. Am I making sense to the online students? Are you able to connect? Okay, we'll look into the volume issue. But I'm saying that there cannot be anyone sitting here who has been forced to take maths. If anyone has told you that take maths because it's very scoring, then please, I would request you to leave, because it's not scoring for everybody. It is very scoring, but only for people who can do well in maths. And doing well in maths, and I will start with what people will tell you. When I say people, I'm talking about everybody who's not had a maths background. They would generally say that, maths does not have any overlap with the GS. We all hear UPSC aspirants. So it has absolutely no overlap with the GS. Now that can be looked at as a negative thing, because other subjects have some overlap. So, but you're doing an optional paper. Optional paper, I think the name should change. It's not up to me, but optional is actually your specialization. Now, when you're specializing in something, you cannot always use that content in your general paper. You understand general and specialization? So, yes, there is an overlap with other subjects, and sometimes it does help. How much does it help? 10% syllabus कम हो जाता होगा, 5%, 20%, इससे ऊपर तो नहीं होता. Do you think एक optional लेने से a chunk of this cannot be prepared at all? This is not possible. So yes, maths has a 0% overlap. Yeah? So people can say it's a negative thing because there is no overlap, so you have to study it separately and all. But you guys were sitting here. Tell me, have you enjoyed doing maths ever in your life? Do you remember that day when you sit down doing maths and you get so engrossed that you don't want to study any other subject? And question after question you're doing, you're very happy. There is a sense of achievement. Because maths, after all, is a very technical paper also. Yet it is not just totally technical. It has a lot of deciding whether I should do it this way. What is my approach going to be? There is a lot of thought process that goes behind it also. There is remembering, but there is formula remembering. I mean, and there is logic in the formula remembering also. That somebody later, maybe we don't know all the formula, logic of all the formulae right now, but we know that if we even type that, is there a logic for this? There has to be some background, there has to be a very scientific approach. So maths is the only subject which is done at sciences level, school, PCM, BE, etc. People take maths. Commerce, they need maths because they're doing economics, they're doing all the finance, everything requires maths. Humanities, people also take maths. Psychology has a lot of statistics. So maths covers the boundaries. It is not restricted to only the science people. But because it is done in a very, very, very scientific manner, it appeals to those people who have an analytical bent of mind. And when you're doing GS, you know the syllabus of GS, right? Anybody who thinks the syllabus of GS is not that great, it's small only. Little syllabus or more syllabus? What is the syllabus volume of GS? A lot, a huge, yeah. Now, and there is a lot of remembering, root learning, facts remembering, yeah. And while you're doing all that, the case studies and a lot of remembering, people who like math. So I only cater to people. Your first and foremost condition of attending the webinar or even thinking about taking an optional, whether you do a course here at Vajiram or from anywhere, has to be your interest in the subject. Because remember, it is a specialization and it is an investment. Now, you can stay in that investment only if you have a liking for the subject. Liking not just when you're doing the topics that you're good at, but even the topics that you've struggled in. Because here I am to explain the logic of topics you're not good at. But you'll have to have faith that once I understand, I will start liking it. So passion for the subject is very, very important. Second condition, so I'm first sharing the conditions under which you should be attending the webinar and thinking about taking maths as an optional. Then I'll go into what optional it is like and everything. But the second thing is, a lot of people walk up to me and say that Mama was very good in maths till school. I also started my webinar with school because I think till school everyone is hardworking and you're putting in the effort, and then college happens. Yeah. Anybody who studied more in college than school? Okay, 2 people out of a, look at the sample size, 3, 4. Rest of you were studying this much in school and then college? How down? Give me a, this much. All right. So there has been a jump, whether it has been because of the college culture or the freedom or the fact that school teachers are more invested. They scold you more. There are PTMs. They're after your life, and everyone in the world ends up messing up their school because of the precise things that they used to hate when they were in school. I, for example, used to not so much like my assemblies. And believe me, people used to come and say, you will miss your assembly. And all. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to miss it. And you never say never. Because the first day after school, I was like, oh, assembly was such a time to feel grounded. At least you can sit and there's no hurrying, there is no. So anyway, the fact of the matter is that college, either you did engineering. So I'm hoping that people here are from engineering backgrounds and non-engineering both. Yeah. If you're from non-engineering background, then you have had maths in at least 2 or 3 semesters out of the 6 that you have done. If you've done a 3-year undergraduate program, if you've done a 4-year undergraduate program, then 3 to 4 semesters you've had some amount of maths. So second condition is, don't just come up to me and say that, ma'am, till 12th I was great at maths. Can I take maths? The answer is no. Not because you can't do it. I can assure you, anybody at any step of their life can learn a subject like mathematics because it's very logical. However, you are not here just to enjoy the subject. You are competing. Now, your competition has been studying in college also, so they're in touch with the subject. You, in 6, 7 months of the program, can learn the subject. There's no doubt about it. But can you compete with these people? No, because these people are also now then taking coaching and their levels is going to go up. So I don't want you to be on a train which is always trying to forever catch the other train. I want you to start at an equal level. For me, everyone who enters into my class, it doesn't matter whether you're engineering background, non-engineering background, maths honors, eco honors, BCom honors, everyone is welcome. Like I said, interest, passion, decent amount of maths in college, so that I don't have to remind you what a matrix was, for example. I don't have to revise with you or tell you what is the concept of differentiation. You will have to revise it yourself. It's not like you remember differentiation. Do you remember differentiation, integration of all functions? Thank God you said a no, because if you're going to say a yes to it, then I would ask you to take the seat here, because I don't think anybody can claim that we know all. You don't have to know all, by the way. You have to just be confident that we'll be able to learn. Okay. So I will take in online questions a little while later. First, let me finish explaining what I want from my students. Then I can listen to what your expectations can be if I have not answered your doubts till then. Okay. So I would want you to have a keen interest in the subject. Maths in graduation for sure, not just till class 12th. And the third and foremost thing that is required for everything, I think I can speak on behalf of every teacher in every fraternity at all levels, is that you have to be ready to put in the hard work. I don't have any shortcuts for you. I don't have a magic potion or a magic pill or a magic way or a magic skill that I can pass on to you. There is only one possible way of doing well in anything, and that is through sheer hard work. And that hard work cannot just be blind hard work. Here I am going to help you learn what is a smart way of doing hard work. Smart way would not mean any shortcuts, but it would mean discipline, regularity, and basic, clear, crystal clear understanding of the topic. Tell me, if I tell you that this is the topic that we all have to prepare for till tomorrow, we have to give a presentation. You've given presentations in your life, in college, school. Any topic they give you, you do a keen research on it, and then you are able to develop it, even if the teacher has not taught. So enough time, if we give to a particular subject with the right guidance, there is nothing on earth that you can't achieve. Maths being just one of the topics that we are talking about right now. But anything that you want to do, there has to be a scientific way of doing it. There has to be concentration on the core fundamentals. And that comes from hard work, that comes from discipline, that comes from punctuality, regularity, and so on and so forth. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah? Till now, do you have any doubts? Offline students, do you want to ask me something? Can you scroll down? I want to look at the... Okay, so first person is asking me, it's obvious there'll be some homework with maths classes. Well, yeah, I am like a school teacher in that sense, you know. I mean, even though I've taught in colleges and not really in school, my homework is very, very important. And you understand maths, I can either solve 10 questions for you on the board, you can copy, or I can empower you to do 10 questions on your own if you just learn this one particular question from me. But you will have to work from home, at home, etc., etc. And I'm not just talking about the vocabulary we all developed after COVID, work from home. It is work from home always has to happen. You have to work after the class. So my expectation, and this is a very 2.5 to... So 2.5 to 3 hour classes, 6 to 7 times per week is going to be your schedule with me. The timings for these classes are 7:30 to 10, 10:30 sometimes. Because if you're doing a topic, I can't say, okay, bye, we'll do it tomorrow. We tell others, please wait, let me finish, because it's an ongoing topic. So sometimes it takes more time. So 7:30 to approximately 10, right? And this is going to be starting from, like, the first batch that I'm launching is on the 12th of June. There will be other batches also, but 12th June is the first batch that will happen. And every batch would be a 7-month duration. I need commitment for 7 months to do the entire topics. Okay, and I will be going into the syllabus. All right, this can I take later? Are those questions different from these?
Yes.
Okay, then I have to come back to I can't multitask so many things. Okay, so let me concentrate on what I'm doing. If there are any doubts left, then we'll take up towards the end. And after every phase of it, I'll keep taking doubts so that I can wind them up. So 7 month duration, and beyond this, the question that you've asked is 2.5 to 3 hours work from home. What will be this work from home? Every time I teach something for 2.5 to 3 hours will require you to revise it in about 1.5 to 2 hours. Revision is very, very important. Whatever I'm teaching you today, you can, of course, remember it till tomorrow, but you cannot be confident to reproduce it tomorrow. You have to be at that level to go back home and revise the lecture thoroughly. In fact, the sooner you revise, the better it is. It is like when you visit a doctor with an acute pain for something. Doesn't he give you an SOS medicine like sometimes immediately that you need it? And then you have to take it in 4 hours, and then you have to take it in 8 hours or something like that, you know. Sorry to give you an example which is related to medicines, because there is a kind of duty bound that a doctor can give you medicines, but if you don't have medicines, then you can't blame the doctor. I can teach you, but if you don't work from home and you don't do it the right manner at the right time, then nobody can help you. Forget about me helping you. Nobody can help you. So this revision has to happen within the first 12 hours of finishing the class. I know you have a commitment of your GS classes and your other courses, and some of you are, you know, staying on your own, and there are household responsibilities and travel time, and I agree. Otherwise, believe you me, my deadline used to be within the first 4 hours of the class, you have to end up revising my lecture. That is actually my, I mean, if you allow me all the freedom in the world, where my students are not doing anything else, then within first 4 hours, everything has to be revised. But because I understand that you're not here to do PhD in mathematics, you're here to specialize in mathematics to do well in the exam, that is the demand. So there is first 12 hours you have to do the revision. Is that clear to everybody? Now, also answering the second question, that where do we revise from, what will happen, and so on. So there are booklets that are provided, and these are handwritten booklets by me, and they have not been produced yesterday. They have been in making for the last, I've been teaching now for about 22 years, completing 23 in August. And I started writing these notes right in the beginning. They're not the same draft. They have been changing almost every year. There is some change for sure, because I'm also updating myself. And updating does not mean these notes are not complete. They're more than complete. But sometimes I feel like rewriting something. Sometimes I feel like adding something. Sometimes I feel like deleting something. But they have been in making for the last several years. So booklets will be given to you for all the topics. These are handwritten booklets. Physics topics, of course, are typed because there are, you know, equations in physics and all. So I would like to show you what the booklets look like. I've been carrying just 2 booklets to show you. So this, if online students can see what I'm showing you, and you guys, if you can see what I'm showing you, these are handwritten booklets for each and every topic. This one, for example, is ordinary differential equations. And this one, the other one that I'm carrying, is modern algebra. This is the thickest booklet that I have, which is about 250 pages. And the thinnest booklet I have is about 100 pages. And they're not just written or copied from any book. They are made minimum from 5 to 6 books, undergraduate. So for linear algebra, for example, from Hoffman and Kunz to Fredberg to Indian author books, a lot of them for questions because sample, and then your PYQs, and everything has been put together and not written in the way a book is written. Otherwise, I would have written a book, no? What is the difference between book and booklets? Booklets are for you guys to keep it with you when I'm teaching you, so that you're not busy copying, you know? When I was in college, for example, a lot of students would be like just scribbling and writing. And I think all your 5 senses can concentrate only on one thing at a time. If you tell yourself, I have to write also, I have to listen also, then somewhere down the line, there'll be a disconnect. So the booklets are there. I will be teaching from the book. When I ask you to open, sometimes the booklets will be like, oh, this is what she was writing on the board, you know? And so it's a very interactive class. It is not like you have to read from the booklets or copy from the book, from the board. There is a healthy combination of that has to happen. The other thing, of course, is that in the booklets, not only do you get good content, but you also get a style of writing. So my style of writing or presentation is when you write your answer in steps. All these things, of course, I can only give you an outline of. I can't start teaching you. Yeah. I mean, a webinar could be, I have taken, so YouTube, that you can find videos where I've taught something, just to see how something is taught. But then you can't learn it overnight, and I can't possibly do everything. So booklets together with PYQs is the only thing you have to do. I will be suggesting a few books here and there, but that's only when you know my booklets like the back of your hand. When I turn to any page and ask you what is written here after the course is done, if you're confident, then only will you ask me, ma'am, which book should we go to? If you do the booklets and the PYQs, you don't read anything else. Is that clear? To answer your question, Ariman, and others who are asking me, for maths, there is only one batch at a time. GS, whether you're doing at Vajiram or you're doing anywhere else, there are several batches running, because that is general. Do you understand general and specialization? Do you understand the difference between these two words? There are many general batches that happen. But specialization batches, I cannot possibly run 3 to 4 like every day. Where will be my efficiency? I can only do this much amount of time in a healthy manner. So there is only one batch. If you are doing GS, either from Vajiram or from anywhere else, Vajiram people would definitely accommodate you in another batch, depending on the availability and your convenience. But maths classes will happen from 7:30 to 10 only. So you can talk to your other institutes if you're there. If you're here, you can definitely ask the admin people, and they'll change your batch to something else. And whatever your remaining classes, of course, everything will get covered and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, but maths, there will be only from 7:30 to 10. Is that clear to everyone? Can you scroll down further? All right. To answer this question, the classes will be in the offline mode and online. And I think the videos are available for 3 days. However, and I'm being very candid here, I know this is streaming on YouTube, but I'm just telling you that the culture of videos, though it's very helpful, some of the courses I have taken, some art and craft courses, I still have videos of, and I've never seen them, because once the time has gone, I'm still trying to cover up things that I enrolled for in January, and because they were unlimited. I'm just talking about a small art and craft course, which I'm not able to manage because videos are there. So in back of my mind, I know that it'll be. But there's something else I'm enrolled for tomorrow, for example, and it's live. No matter what, I'm going to juggle and make sure that I'm going to be available there, because I can only do it live. Are you following what I'm saying? That if something is supposed to be only live, then I've had before COVID people walking into my classroom with 103, 104 fever. And I had to personally tell them, please go get well. I personally will teach you this separately if I have to, or I'll make sure you get it. But you please go, because literally I don't want to carry you to the hospital. I'll only faint looking at how ill you are looking. But this kind of a dedication I've seen here, right here. And ever since recordings have been available, the strength, I don't know if you've seen that, but the strength of the class would be this much. And then because recordings are there, because this is there, and then, 3 days have passed and I haven't seen it. Can I now request for another one? You should. All these things are there for your comfort. But do you think comfort is going to give you success? Anything comfortable has always led to something nice. You have to be uncomfortable in attending the class. Yes, 7:30 in the morning, winters, Delhi is going to be very tough. But am I not going to travel? Am I a superhuman being? I don't stay here. I stay pretty far. And it is going to be cold, and it's going to be rainy. And have you seen rains in Delhi till now? Oh, you're going to have a good experience. And I'm not exaggerating. It's going to be tough, because there's going to be traffic jams, there's going to be waterlogging, and I'm not here to talk about the issues, civic issues, but I'm saying no matter what, if a class is scheduled, it is both my responsibility and your responsibility to come here on time and attend. Offline people, if you enroll for offline, I want to see you there, because only then will you also understand what I'm. So people who walked in a little while ago, did you see me talking with students when I was sitting outside? They were your seniors. And most of them were, of course, offline. I'm also doing some Google Meet sessions with my students who are clearing prelims this year, and they're not from Delhi. And I'm doing that because obviously it's not your fault that you're not here. But if you're enrolling for offline, please come here for a class. There's a world of a difference between attending the class live and trying to watch a video recording later. So video recordings is available. And that's more for me than for anybody, because I can't keep repeating and everything. But don't wait for the recordings. And of course, working professionals, I've always had in maths some working professionals who, because of their job commitments and financial restrictions, they can't. I mean, for these kind of people, of course, there is recordings. Everybody will get it, but it's only for those people that they should cater to it. If everybody starts catering to it, we become very comfortable. And believe me, comfort does not lead to success. You have to be a little uncomfortable, discomfort. You have to face it. And what discomfort are we talking about? Didn't you used to go to school every day? People are not nodding here also. Okay, not every day, but 75% attendance, 66.7, 30%. How much was your attendance requirement? College, oh, proxy, don't tell me. Did you go to college? And have you also studied some amount of your academics? Have you covered in the COVID? Yeah, when you were in school or college when COVID happened? School, college. So, do you really like that kind of studying? Did you really learn a lot during that? Everything was online. You didn't learn? What happened? You understand what happened? We became too comfortable. What were you doing? Were you always ready with your uniforms and everything for the class? Did you even buy a uniform that year? I'm talking from experience. I didn't buy a uniform for my kid that year at all. He just needed a t-shirt, and he would just wear any t-shirt. And one t-shirt would be enough. He would take it off after the class and continue with it forever. But I think that has been a dent in our understanding of how work gets done. And when I say our, it wasn't mine, because I was still traveling to work. Of course, I used to love the empty roads because there was no traffic. But having said that, we missed that connection. There's something about it that I can't put it in words. But do you understand what I'm trying to say? That when you're nodding, for example, I can see a lot of people agreeing. That gives me also a sense of, yes, I'm connecting with them. Otherwise, we can look at the walls and also teach. I have done online work also enough number of years to know that it can be done. Of course, I'm not saying that everybody has to travel here, but if you're online, for example, I can only see Parth who has switched on his camera. Everybody else, mute, of course, you can't be talking. But why is it that nobody has switched on their cameras? It's afternoon. I'm sure you got up. Yeah, see, now I have some people switching on their cameras. How does it help me so much to know you've switched on your camera? It helps me not just look at these people, but also look at you guys, because you're looking at me. If I see blank walls, I don't know how to connect. Human tendency. Only people who are nodding, I will start looking at. No. So everybody, thank you. You are getting the message. Very smart people. So that's one thing that I like about people who like maths. I think we all are very smart, and I hope you don't think I'm just talking about myself, but we do get the message in that, coded encryption, we understand. So I was trying to be a little sarcastic here, but it was for your own good. Thank you so much for people who are cooperating and switching on their cameras, because see, it helps me to also know that, in the past, I've had people who have always switched on their cameras online. Those are the only faces I know, na? Otherwise, there's anonymity. I don't know who am I talking to, who's my audience. So it's not a YouTube rehearsed lecture that I'm taking right now. I want you to understand that there is a world of a difference in attending the classes, rushing for a 7:30 morning class. These are the kind of things you're going to remember 10 years down the line. When you think about your journey, it's not going to be the comfort of my home, watching the recorded videos. You will remember the struggle. And the struggle, I'm not saying you have to struggle, but I'm saying that there is struggle inherently when you try to work hard. It's not going to be easy, but I would really request if you can actually attend online with cameras on, or come offline when you enroll for offline, okay? Yeah. So Pranita, I just discussed the pros and cons. Like I said, if you have a basic interest in maths, you have studied maths at undergraduate level, you're ready to work hard. My course will begin from the scratch. Now, let me explain what scratch means. I would expect you to know basics, like what are matrices, what are determinants, what is the basic concept of derivation, so derivatives, how to find derivatives. And you don't have to go to a class 12th level book and do everything from the scratch, but you should, like, say, have a formula sheet ready, or maybe just glance through it and see, oh, these were the kind of questions we need for example, basic integration, partial fractions and all that. All this you have to know yourself. But when I teach something, for example, okay, so that's another thing. Please switch off your phones. And I didn't say put them on silent, just switch them off, because so many distractions have cropped up since this generation you were born with a phone in your hand, or you were given one when you were in class 9, 10th. I don't know what is the class system now. My generation, yes, I do come from a little dinosaur era, but my first phone was when I started working with my own salary. and it got stolen in 1 month. And I have never forgotten that phone. I have a more expensive phone today, but my dearest phone is the one that got stolen. And I had to fight a case for it in consumer court because it had a. Anyway, I'm digressing. You can see how I relate to that phone so much, because it was. Are you here for the webinar? Okay. So please switch off your phones, because we need that old-fashioned thing here. And my era, the dinosaur era, that is where we belong to, because that's the only way that we'll be able to do justice to anything. It's not just about maths, but anything in general. Is that clear? Can you scroll down? The stashes in my job. Of course, like I said, this is more for working professionals that the recordings are given. I've had in the past many working professionals from all over the country, and people can't travel for whatever reason. So recordings are for them. Vedika, I'll come to that. Can you scroll down? I need to see if there are any messages that I've forgotten to put further. More. Okay, Shreya, I'll answer your question. Scroll down. Will some college graduation syllabus basics be also covered? So when I say I will do it from basics, so when I said, for example, if I'm teaching ODE, I will start with dy by dx is equal to xy kind of equation, which is actually a very simple differential equation. But I will not just write this equation. I will tell you what is the differential equation. Why is it called differential equation? What are we going to do with this? Question is solve. But solving means what? Finding what? So I know the differential equation. I hope you agree. Differential equation, I'll have to do something called variable separable here. Dy by y equal to x dx, for example, and then integrating both sides and get an answer. What does an answer mean? So I will be not just covering the basics of what you have to write, but also what is the logic behind writing this? What is the aim? What are we trying to figure out? Once you have the why are we doing this, then how. So I in my class love to answer why, how, both. How do you do it? That is, of course, how you're going to present it. What is the procedure? Why are we doing it? What is the demand? What is the question trying to say? So it's a very interesting way of understanding any subject. These questions, if you can answer what, why, when, how, right, then it covers all the basics. So this is not just graduation basics, this is the basics of any topic that is there in your syllabus. Okay, so I'm not catering to individual semester syllabuses for sure, but yes, basics will be done. Okay, can you scroll down further? Any other question? No, that's fine. Come to the latest. Now, one person is asking me a question which I'll try and answer. That I had prepared for JEE, and I shared with you that I'm from IIT Delhi. And by the way, someone was asking me which department. Well, if you can trace the dinosaur era records, then I was from the maths department. I did my master's from there. And there were a lot of friends or classmates who, after IIT, got placements in. So either the placements were softwares, etc., which if you're interested in, then you go that line, or you get taken up by these institutes. I will not name, but these coaching institutes, at IIT JEE level, a lot of them. Some of them have been in news, not for good reasons, in the past few days, because some of my friends have been working there since so long, and they were at a good level, and suddenly, there was a lot of upheaval. But so the question the student was asking me is, I've prepared for JEE and also advanced JEE, and so will it help? Another question, similar, nobody is asking me, but I'm still telling you that, ma'am, my CSAT maths is very good. Can I take maths optional? Or they say, if I take maths optional, will my CSAT maths also get covered? Well, let me tell you that JEE level and CSAT is very different from, they are drastically opposite. They don't have anything to do with each other. CSAT maths is an aptitude paper. This a history person has to write, a person from agricultural background has to do, someone who's done botany, someone who's done zoology, I'm advertising, anybody who wants to give any exam, which is an aptitude exam, whether it is a SAT exam or the CSAT exam that you're giving, or to apply abroad, or bank exams that people have to give. This is the aptitude. So this is percentage, profit and loss, distance, time, tables of 19 and table. This is that maths, okay? And JEE level is also an objective kind of a paper. So there is a lot of fill in the blanks in the reverse form. Like, you learn how to draw graphs, and from the graph you answer, but it's objective. This has nothing to do with your maths optional. Maths optional syllabus, if you ask me, and why I got into it was because when I was working in college, in the beginning I was an ad hoc. Till the end, I was an ad hoc actually. And then I opened my own institute for undergraduate maths. When I was in college, they used to every year change my topics. So this year they enrolled me. The first paper I got was ring theory and probability, and one more paper, I don't remember which one. And second year, they changed my papers completely. Third year, they changed my papers again, and so on. And I was very, very young, and I used to get very irritated. And I remember saying that, oh my God, they just keep giving me any paper they want. And that has really proved beneficial because I ended up teaching the entire syllabus at least once in my life to somebody. And your maths optional syllabus is similar to an undergraduate honors degree from a good university. It could be Delhi University, it could be any university in India at undergraduate level. Undergraduate, not school level. So the topics it covers are college level maths. But if you ask me the level, it is not as difficult as this paper because thousands and lakhs of people give this and only this much gets selected. Undergraduate exam, there is a success ratio of 80 to 90%. Everybody passes. Not really. There's a year when 44% people only passed, and I've seen those times where it's become very tough, even for when especially the changes happened. You know, when modern algebra was introduced, and so on in Delhi University, there used to be a very high failure rate. However, college degree with an undergraduate degree, 80-90% people pass. You know, so the level of your paper topics are higher, but your level is just moderate. Any average college student can understand the syllabus completely. Is that clear? Then what is the problem? Like, why can't everybody take it? Because I remind you that you are here for preparing for UPSC. Apart from your optional papers, which are very important because it contributes to 500 marks, you have to also study everything else. And that's also important. Plus, people have to study for prelims. You know, the people I'm meeting nowadays are people who gave prelims last week. So they are now telling me that, ma'am, 2 months ago, we have not studied maths. 4 months, somebody has stopped studying maths. 6 months ago, depending on how many attempts they have given, depending on if they've passed, because there's a lot of fear. And rightly so, prelims is becoming tougher by the day. Sheer number of people who are giving and the seats that are there. So they start concentrating on that. And so obviously optional gets, sort of, it gets avoided in the turn and you don't give it as much attention. But there's a way to, of course, bounce back. And that's why I'm saying, please look at the syllabus. You can check Vajiram's website, UPSC website, whatever, and I'll be giving you a brief idea about the syllabus also. There are also some past webinars I have taken. If you want, you can look at them. Especially COVID times when there were no offline students, there was more rehearsed. Right now, I'm talking according to how you are asking me questions. So I will be giving you an outline of the syllabus also, but it is not this and it is not this. ये करने से ना इसमें help होगा, neither will this be taken care of. This is separate and this is really separate. There is no relationship between the two. Is that clear? If you have a genuine interest, Pranita, but genuine interest can be proven only when for the next a few days you concentrate on this and see how comfortable you are with this. And comfortable means you should not be scared, you are attempting questions, you are able to. So if you want to check whether you are okay for maths or not, you have to start doing these basic topics and see, are you enjoying again? Because sometimes we like some kind of, even music, for example, the kind of music I like today, I may not always like it 10 years down the line, or something else, the food that you like to eat, will it always be your favorite all your life? It is not necessary. So I know 3-4 years ago, you were really liking maths and everything. If you had a break in maths, then you still keep feeling that no, maths hi acha tha. But you've not studied it, so you have not really gone through the bad parts of it. There are always going to be goods and bad parts of everything, no? So if you've not done maths and you're really keen, I would advise you seriously to take up the next 10-15 days and revise this topics and see how comfortable you are. Is that clear? Yes, that should be okay. Like I said, if you've studied 2-3 semesters in a decent college and you have basic interest, you should be okay. Is that clear? Have I answered all doubts online till now? Do you guys have any doubts? Sometimes my online students have more doubt than the offline ones. You are just nodding with everything I'm saying. No doubts at all till now? Yes, it has everything. Which books? My booklets, no? Yes, yes. What else? So it'll have theory, it'll have solved questions, it'll also have assignments. Like I was saying that 1.5 to 2 hours you're going to revise at home. But here I wrote 2.5 to 3 hours you have to work from home. So remaining time, remaining 1 to 1.5 hours, you have to do the assignments I'll give you. You have to do the PYQs. For some topics, PYQs begin immediately. Today I've taken a class on say system of linear equations. Today itself, by end of the class, I'll be able to tell you go back home and past 25 years, you take out the papers. Every year there is going to be a question from system of linear equations. Every year, 100%. You take out that question and start solving it. But there are topics where I will be teaching, and after 1 week, 10 days, I'll say, now you can go back. And in the last 25 years, you will find 10 questions from this particular topic. The topics are all not balanced in that sense. So some topics will require a lot of effort from my side, especially theorems. And somebody had said how to tackle algebra. So that is what my work is. Nobody is sitting here for like, I'll give you the syllabus and I'll maybe ask rather than giving an answer. But modern algebra, real analysis are the two basic pillars on which the entire maths is based. If you can master these two topics, then everything else takes care of them. It's not all the 13 topics require same amount of attention. The booklet sizes also tell you all. So some booklets are just 9,900 pages. Some are 250 pages. Some take me 6 days to finish. Some take me a month to finish. So why is this? And marks, they carry the same in the exam. Roughly every topic comes to about 40 to 50 marks, roughly. But do they take the same amount of time? No. So that is where the 7 months will go. 7 months is not every month 2 topics. In some months, we'll be able to do 4 topics. In some months, it'll continue like one topic only is not getting over. We'll only sit down and say, my God, how long? And I agree, it is long. But that's how it takes, that much time it takes to develop that particular topic. Is that clear? Yes. Yeah, so can I come to the syllabus in detail and then I'll be able to answer this question? Yes. That's a very good question, because some years ago I had a student, very innocent and naive also. I know you all are grown up and you don't think that you're innocent anymore. You are pretty naive also, because one person walked up to me and said, I want to work very hard in maths. I said, very good. I like the spirit. I always encourage the right spirit. And said, very good. So he said, okay, but I have a serious question. I want to get 500 on 500 because I had 100 on 100 in my some exam he quoted. But UPSC is very different, because you are not here. And to answer your question, when I was running my own institute, and I have facts to prove what I'm saying, that people used to get full scores in algebra papers, analysis papers, semester papers, 2-3 topics you are giving at a time. So it's okay to, you're confident. See, for one whole semester, if I'm teaching you modern algebra, then it's possible to get 100 on 100. When I'm teaching you only ODE for an entire semester, which I was employed for. In fact, when I was teaching in college, Delhi University at that time was annual mode. Semester mode has come up only now. Annual mode, we are teaching you one topic for the whole year. And I'm doing it repeatedly, and you're giving tests, and then you can get good marks. The problem with this is that you are doing optional as a part of your journey for UPSC. You have to concentrate on clearing your prelims. Then when you come to your mains, you have to concentrate on 4 GS papers. You have to concentrate on your language papers. You have to concentrate on your essay. Each of these components plays a very important role and takes away the time that you can give to the optional papers. Therefore, and the syllabus. So see, I don't know which university you belong to, but paper is not made for only Delhi University people or people from a IIT or people from this engineering college. It is made in a mixed manner. You may not even have studied some subjects in college. So when you learn them from the scratch, and you don't do it for a year the way you do it in your semester or college or something, you do it in a manner that you are there to give the exam. So we rely on what has come in the PYQs, and more than PYQs, I concentrate on FYQs also in the class. These are the jargons we learn when you come for my classes, because past year question papers and past year questions are very important. But what is FYQ? Can you guess what is FYQ? Future year questions. If I cannot tell you what can come based on what has been asking, then our journey is not going to be complete. And how will I predict? Am I astrologer, a card reader or something. No. So depending on our syllabus and the utility of a question, because every year or every other year, they may have a different team who's making this paper. But knowing the depths of the subject gives me the command that it's a static syllabus. One excellent thing about maths, and thankfully, right? Do you want to do current affairs in maths? I don't want you to. That I'll walk out of here if they tell me that it's some sort of current affairs and maths. Also, read some journal and come. I'll be like, okay, bye bye, retirement time, because it's going to be super difficult to understand anything. It's a static syllabus. So, how many times can they ask a question on? So, for example, I was going to say that every year there's a question on system of linear equations, whether directly or I will show you how indirectly this question is actually system of equations only. You have to only write 2 steps and make a system out of it and then solve. But this journey we have to do together. So to answer your question, even though it's a static syllabus, you're not preparing for a college exam where you get 90s and 100s and people get 94, 95, 96 in maths. You are preparing for it holistically. The syllabus is humongous in that sense. It is not catering to a particular set of books. There are no prescribed books that only do it from here. Even now, if you open up, for example, if I say, what is your favorite topic in maths? Algebra. Which algebra? Can you... matrices. But if I give you like 100 questions, do you think all 100 and 100 you'll do correct? Now in UPSC, along with matrices, there will be 20 other topics they are asking and you have to answer them simultaneously. You are doing one question of algebra, then you're doing one question of ODE, then you're doing one question of physics, then you're going back to one question of algebra. So your mind also, there is limited relationships that can happen in our mind, no? So semester exam or college exams happen topic-wise, giving a paper, linear algebra paper, calculus paper. Calculus is one topic out of 6 you have to give in one exam, 3-hour duration. And if you've studied college, calculus, have you studied calculus in college? Must have been one paper. Maybe calculus 1, calculus 2, I don't know how they call it now. Do they call it calculus 1, 2, 3 only? Or we had codes like MA 301. And sometimes I get mails like that. Ma'am, do we have to do MA 301? You're not even telling me which university you're from. You think I'm a superhuman. I know which college, which university has what code now. I don't. But basically, if it is calculus, then whole semester you are studying calculus. Exam is also only on calculus. So you can get 100 on 100. But now calculus will be one topic out of 6 you have to give in a 3-hour duration. After years of studying everything, your GS syllabus, you know your GS syllabus? What? Anything under the sun. You name it and it will be some part of it here. You have to do that. You have to balance. You have to juggle. So a good score in maths is anything more than 300. Anything more than 300. 350 is excellent. The highest I have seen people getting is about 330, 340. No guarantee that that person has got through, unfortunately, because the other papers also need a decent score. So I cannot comment on what your preparation is about this, but the minimum I've seen people in services with a 257. So anywhere between 250 to 300, you have a high chance of making it in the exam. Anything more than 250. And if you were sitting for a webinar for any other optional, especially humanities-based, which are more sort of common, 250 is considered to be an excellent score. 290 is like unheard of, kind of. And here, I can assure you, getting a 300 plus, it's in your hands. It's very, very, very tangible. Like if you work the way I'm asking you to work, there's this military kind of discipline that will require for it. It will not come easy. I hope I'm not making it easy for you. You're not like, oh, ma'am will do everything. No. You will have to put in a lot of effort, for sure. But I will be here to concentrate on the basics so that you are equipped to handle and empowered. These are the words that I use very often. And these are the ways in which you can actually succeed. Not by being super dependent on someone, but by learning how you can maximize your result. Okay? Vaibhav, to answer your question, like another girl had asked me that if you have keen interest and you've not studied maths in undergraduate at all, then I would request you to go back to the basics. These, for the next 15 days, in a very disciplined manner, put in 6-7 hours and see how comfortable you are. And know that you're competing with people who had maths in undergraduate. Are you able to come to that level? If yes, then you're fine. Because I do start from scratch, like I said. I will not say, oh, you must have done in university. I will never say that. But I will say, oh, this you must have done in college, in school. You must have done it in school, how to integrate by partial fractions. Am I making sense? Partial fractions? Not everyone is nodding. Are you? Partial fractions, matrices, determinants, adjoint, inverse, or limits. School, I can't remember more now. But AP, GP, sequences series. We have sequences series in our syllabus, but it's not school sequences series. But if you're not comfortable with that, and I tell you the theory of sequences series, like I'll have to tell you what is the meaning of a sequence converging. Let's do one. It's too boring to actually just do this. Tell me, where is this converging if I just write down 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5? Do you think it's going somewhere? Like, yeah, if I write dot, 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 I mean it's infinite, okay? Never. We don't study finite sequences in our syllabus. But if I say, okay, I'm only writing till 1 by 10, so this is a finite sequence. Sequence is an arrangement. Suppose while going back, I tell you, please write your phone numbers and your names and your email IDs. Then in a sequence only, you'll move out 1 by 1 by 1 and you'll write it down. So there'll be a sequence that is generated. Yes, there'll be a finite sequence that's generated, right? But infinite sequences, when I put a comma and I say dot, dot, dot. Now, when I say, where are they going? I'm asking you, can you predict the next term, for example? Predict the next term after 1 by 10? Oh, come on, you are looking so scared. Am I scaring you? You're petrified of me, though I like the feeling that people are scared of me. I don't mind. But you're looking quite petrified. Has somebody scolded you? I've forced you to be here. You're looking very... Okay, can you all just relax? It's just... So 1 by 10 is this term. I'll write down more if you want, guys. 1 by 11, no? What is the next one? Yeah. Can you see? It's going somewhere. So if I say dot, 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 after so many terms, what has it finally become? This becomes a definition of a sequence converging to a particular number. And I know some people have answered and so on. 1 by 11 is the correct answer, of course. 1 by 10, then 1 by 11 and so on, right? But the way I will tell you is, okay, let's do first number. Let's plot it on the number line. So the first number is 1. Where is the next number? Midpoint, no? Half. 1 by 3, where is it? Somewhere here. 1 by 4, 1 by 5. What is 1 by 10 in decimals? So it's somewhere here. Imagine there is a number called 1 by 100 also here. There's 0.01. Where is it? Near. I like the word near. Any other word? Closer. Yeah, so it's going. But is it going to jump with the 0 and go out? It's going to keep coming closer and closer to... Where is it coming closer and closer to? Yeah, it is coming closer and closer to 0. And that is the definition of convergence. So this was asking where does it converge to, but we have to develop the definition for it. So now I'll have to, in my class, I will teach you what is the definition of a sequence A1, A2, A3 converging towards L, where L is some number and AI is. So it becomes a little theoretical as compared to examples, but I take examples to explain the definition. Then I use the definition to do the examples. So the interconnection is established. Is that clear? So, but if you feel comfortable, if now I say that, okay, now I'm writing a, I don't know, an AP 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Please guess the next number. Yeah. Next. Very good. Yeah. And so on. So this is an arithmetic progression. But when I say remember an AP, you can't be like remembering everything about it, but remember there is a fixed gap between them. And, you know, then you can go back home and revise. I'm not saying anybody has to know everything before coming to my class. But at least you'll know, okay, oh, today we'll go back home and see if she's writing this. I myself should also remember. The nth term is given by a plus n minus 1 d. If I don't remember, it's okay. But at least I don't feel scared of Googling it or asking, or it's not like, oh, we don't remember, we can't remember how difficult this is. You can't have that kind of a fear. And that will happen because after school, there's 4-5 years of gap. If you've not studied maths at all, it's going to be even small things like that, you're going to hesitate a bit. And there is scope for hesitation in the beginning, but there has to be a little amount of confidence when you have to do maths. You have to learn how to accept that you'll make errors. That is why you're here. Not because you know everything, but because you have to learn things from me. The learning will not happen without falling, without failing, without making a mistake. Is making a mistake a wrong thing? Is making the same mistake again and again a wrong thing? And why are you making that mistake if you can identify that this is the way you go wrong? or this is where you have not caught the right this thing, then it becomes an issue. And that is how I do my basic courses. Like all my course, everything that I do will be from that level. So it'll not be like, I hope you understood what I was doing here, and I don't want to go into the famous epsilon delta definition, otherwise you'll all run away from here today only. So I have a very nice way of, a balanced way, I would say, of doing my syllabus. I balance it out with, it's not like we don't do we do difficult topics in the beginning actually, because it gives you more time, but it does not mean that we only do difficult topics so that people are like all. So there are topics of all level, all undergraduate, but some of them are going to take me like 6 days, I said, and some of them will take me a month to do. And so they're not all equi-spaced or equi-placed in terms of number of days or the effort that it requires to either teach it or study it. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah. Can I give you an overview of syllabus now, and then I can take up any more doubts that you have? So I hope everyone knows that there are 2 papers that you have to give in any optional. There is paper 1 and there is paper 2. Each of the papers are asked for 400 marks, out of which 250 have to be attempted. Okay, 250. And what is the way they ask? They ask 8 questions, out of which 5 have to be attempted. Okay, every optional goes like that. Maths optional, there'll be 2 papers you'll have to prepare for. There'll be 8 questions. Both the papers will have 8 questions. You have to do 5, not any 5. Question number 1 and question number 5 are compulsory. And they are 5 parts each, 10 marks. These are the 10 markers. So 8 questions. Okay, Arnav, I'll have someone scroll down. Can you type your doubt again? I will just look at it. And I'm not running away anyway. I'm just taking a break from answering your questions. I'll come back to your doubts later. So 400 marks, 8 questions. Each question is 50 marks. 8 into 50 is 400. You have to attempt 250. 250 means you have to attempt 5 questions, out of which question number 1 and question number 5 are compulsory. Each question is 50 marks. Question number 1 will have 5 parts. So each sub-part of it will be 10 marks. One question will have 5 parts. Question number 1 will have 5 parts. You have to do all the 5 parts. It's compulsory. Then, and the paper is divided into 2 sections. So there is section A and there is section B. Section A will have question number 1 to question number 4, question number 5 to question number 8. Like I said, question number 1 is compulsory. Question number 5 is also compulsory. So 2 questions are these. Total, how many questions do we have to attempt? 5. How many remaining if 2 are compulsory? Basic maths. This is CSAT level maths. Okay. So 3 questions we have to do more. Now 3 questions can be, so question number 2, 3. Here we have question number 2, question number 3, question number 4 pending. Here we have 6, 7 and 8 pending. You have to do 3 more questions. They cannot be all these 3 or all these 3. You have to select 1 plus 2 combination. 1 more question from each section. So for example, if you do question number 2 from here, then you can do these 2 questions from here. So you can't just do all the 3 questions from one section. So you have to do question number 1 and 5 compulsorily, remaining 3 in such a way that 1 question from each section at least has to be done more. Is that clear to everyone? Have you understood? Online students, any doubt about the paper, like the way you have to achieve it? And topics, that is what I'm coming to. So paper 1, section A, for example, if I come to, has 3 topics. There is linear algebra. I'm not going to discuss this for a very, very long time because you can go through the syllabus. Bare minimum when you're enrolling for my class, please get a printout of the syllabus. Now I'm saying printout because remember, I'm from dinosaur era, but you guys are those online, technically much superior to what my level of understanding can ever be. But so if you want a soft copy or something, that's okay. But let me tell you, a paper is old-fashioned. You still have to have a pen and paper in your hand. So I love my dinosaur era here because I will always be writing, and there are some people who use those fancy gadgets, and then I have to remind them, please write on paper, and their handwriting goes all, they're not used to writing with a normal pen and paper. So don't do that mistake. Please buy blank sheet registers, so that you know how to write on blank sheets. If you are not very comfortable with that, I'll give you tips and tricks as to how to learn also writing straight. because otherwise you start writing and it goes a little haywire. I'll give you some tips how I learned how to write it straight, and it'll come. But please make a habit of having the syllabus with you and having a good understanding of what in brief I'm telling you. So paper 1, section A has linear algebra, it has calculus, and it has geometry. Okay, linear algebra is a shortcut for 2 topics actually. One is the matrices topic and the other is vector spaces. So this is actually part of modern algebra. People don't know this because they think modern algebra is group theory, ring theory. Modern algebra is what is recent in algebra. A few hundred years ago, when algebra was introduced in that fashion. So modern algebra has at least 3 branches in your syllabus. There are many more, but in your course there are 3. There is group theory, ring theory, and vector spaces. All these 3 are called modern algebra. Group theory and ring theory paper is in paper 2. And linear algebra they have put here. So linear algebra, which is vector spaces, is theoretical maths, theoretical linear. So there is theory, theorems, etc. But it's not theoretical. It's not like you to cram. Everything is logic. There's not one cramming step in this, not one. But it takes me about 15 classes of 2.5 hours to 3 hours rigorous work to explain the logic of everything. And it's a very, very healthy balance of theory and numerical questions. So it's a very, very good section. It's a very powerful section. Calculus has what you call as calculus. I call it as calculus and real analysis because the core word behind calculus is calculations. What are you calculating? So we are going to do differentiation here. There's going to be limit, continuity, etc., etc. But some of the topics are also integration based and they're also real analysis overlap. So all these things we will be able to I will be able to justify only when I start teaching. So these are the 3 topics in section A. Coming to section B. Okay, Arnav, I'll just take up your dot. Section B has ODE. It has vector calculus. Now, do you see the word calculus coming here and here? And for me, calculus is a part of analysis. Okay, so when you do calculus nicely, this calculus gets done and this calculus also gets done. There is a lot of overlap between the two. And to answer your question, there is a physics component here. So 1 topic out of 6 has a physics. Okay, now this physics has basic parts to it. There's statics, dynamics, fluid dynamics, for which, like I told you earlier, we have fantastic booklets with all the PYQs, all the basics. You don't have to have a physics background, but you have to be ready to accept a lot of things. Like, when I say, do you remember this? I don't remember myself very well, but GMM upon R square, the distance between this and that, and G is the gravity constant, and this, and so there is a little bit more remembering, I would say, in physics than in maths. You see, maths is a tool which helps the physics people. They can't do physics without doing maths. So this is the mathematical aspect of physics that you have to cater to. But for that, there will be a review. This is what physics is all about. So now if there is a component in this direction and there is acceleration, and you would have to know that. But when I say know that, we take review classes for physics before physics starts. Before your actual syllabus starts, there are 2 review classes that happen, which are more like basics of physics that you have forgotten, or you may not remember them at all, like you've never done them. Even if you didn't have physics in class 11, 12, it's fine. You will be able to do it even without that. So the booklets are very, very self-explanatory. And the level, remember, is basic. And remember, the contribution is 1 out of 6 topics in this. Is that clear to everyone? Coming to paper 2, section A, there is modern algebra. Okay, modern algebra consists of group theory and ring theory. Okay, and the next topic here is real analysis. Real analysis is nothing but calculus only, actually. I only have 1 booklet called Real Analysis and Calculus. Thick booklet, but it is both real and calculus put together. Calculus books have analysis in it. Analysis books have calculus in it. There is sometimes just a common book for both the papers everywhere. And I know this generation, even my generation, even dinosaur era people didn't really go to the libraries very often in college. Did you attend a lot of library in college? School? Oh, I went, I think, twice, 1 to take the card and 1 to return the card to get an NOC. And now I miss having a place where I can, like at my age now, I feel library, why didn't I ever access it? I mean, what was wrong with me, when I was in college? Having said that, I think everybody goes through that phase when you start missing the infrastructure that was provided to us and which we thought was an extra burden on us. We never walk into and here we enrolled in a library to get a quiet space to study. And so I remember the first time I walked into my IIT library after due college. I was shocked. Why are people studying so much? Isn't library supposed to be just go meet friends, come back, or just locate that person who's missing? कोई मिल नहीं रहा है तो library ढूंढ लो. I'm in college. I used to, I think, only think about that, but so we start missing. So the idea that I'm trying to give you is, if you search for a real analysis book, there's a very good chance it will have your calculus syllabus. If you look at a calculus book, it's a very good chance that it will have actually your real analysis. So there's a lot of intermingling and overlapping between the two topics, even in the syllabus. Integration is written here also. You check UPSC website. Integration is written here also. It is written here also. What are you doing when you're integrating is real analysis? How do you integrate is calculus. Calculate the integration is calculus. What are you really doing when you're integrating? The understanding behind it comes under real analysis. So Riemann integration comes here. And actual integrated through Riemann techniques can be done by calculus techniques also. Like I will be teaching you here how to integrate x dx between 0 and 1, which is very basic. I mean, at least remember the answer? Yeah. So x ka integral will be x square by 2 and then 0 to 1, and then you know what I'm talking about at least. And if you're not scared of looking at the book today, if you've forgotten, then you're in the right place. Maybe you don't remember, that's okay. If I 10 days, if I'm not teaching to somebody, I start feeling, oh my God, what will I say today? I just asked a colleague of mine, what do we do in a webinar exactly? Remind me, because there's been such a gap between, but it comes back, no? There is no rehearsed speech, but it comes back to you because you know it like the back of your hand. So we know how to integrate it using calculus. Why do we have to learn it here? Because we deep dive into the theory of what are we doing when we are integrating really. So we'll draw a graph, and we will try and find out the area actually of this particular portion, and how does area become integration. And integration is an English word, the current crisis that India faced integrated all the communities together, or everyone integrated together to come up with a solution. Integration is an English word. It's used mathematically, but it cannot not mean anything. Integrate must have a meaning to it. No, we can't just use any word, anything like that. So when we say something is a subspace, there are two words to it, subset and a space. What kind of a space is it? Something which is a subset of it. So I love to teach the logic behind each word. Then only will you remember why this is called a subspace. Why is it called a sub? There is a topic called subspace here. Can you see this word space? Can you see this word space? There is subspace here. There is a word called subgroup here in your syllabus. Subring here. So isn't there a connection? Once you understand the meaning of the word sub, and you understand groups, rings, vector spaces, then you know subgroup, subspace, subring, subgroup, subring, subspace, in that order. So honestly speaking, if you were my undergraduate students, and if I was teaching you for applying to Harvard or Oxford for your PhDs, I would begin with group theory first, then do ring theory, and then do vector spaces. But are you here to do your PhD? You're doing UPSC, right? We want results. We're in the same team. Believe you me, first we'll do this. You'll understand this nicely, properly, a little more easily. Then I will jump from here to here. Even though technically, if you ask me as a mathematician, first people have to do groups, then they have to do rings, and then they should do vector spaces. That's how the syllabus also evolved. But that's not necessarily how we have to do it. It evolved the way it had to because people were doing PhDs and research in it. They have done their work now. We'll pick up this, then we'll go to this, then we'll go to this. Yeah, so you have to trust my judgment on it. Years of practice and experience has brought me where I am today. So that Gallian is an excellent book for algebra, Vedika, but when you read Gallian for the first time, if you've not read it before, believe you me, you'll not understand anything. For 3 years between 2014 to 2017, on my bedside table, I had Gallian. From morning till night, every day I was opening Gallian like a maniac. Gallian is a book from modern algebra. Contemporary modern algebra. This is group theory and ring theory. Now I think it's an excellent book, and I have 2 copies of it now because the first copy got weird out, by reading so much. It was so used, so I had to buy a second one. But do I recommend it to you? No. Please read online a chapter if it's available, or just go to a bookstore. They'll allow you to read it in 2 minutes. You will not understand anything. And that's where I come in. I have decoded that book. I have understood it like the back of my hand. It's not my book, but I've understood it. I have learned what I had to learn from there and written it in my booklet. So this will be the go-to booklet. You will not need anything else for modern algebra, for vector spaces, for any other topic, for example. That's how booklets will come into the picture. Is that clear? Yes, Arnav, I'll just come to your doubt. Now, let me just finish the syllabus. So can I rub this off? So there is modern algebra, there is real analysis, there is complex analysis. Can you see the word analysis coming here, guys, again? And I told you analysis and calculus is same. So can you see calculus here, calculus, analysis, analysis. Two pillars of maths. Both start with A. Algebra, analysis. If you master these, everything else gets done. OD-PD doesn't really directly have anything from algebra or analysis, but believe me, when you do an advanced course in OD, there is a lot of complex analysis, nature of the solution, how is it converging, not existing. Right now, we just need integration and all that. So it's basic, but there are just two pillars. Then LPP also comes here, which is linear programming. Sorry. There is a lot of linear, LPP full form, linear, can you see linear written here? Linear algebra, linear programming. Can they be very different? They are parts of operational research, but if you do theorems of it, they use a lot of linear algebra again. So ultimately, the syllabus can be made to look like this. Even though I'm saying it is huge, I'm not saying it takes me 7. Once it starts, it doesn't stop for me also. Like I really need a break from myself once I'm done with one batch. It is hectic, but it's not like, oh, we have to run in 100 directions, only 2 directions. Master your algebra, master your analysis. Do it the way I'm asking you to do. You will not just do well, you will enjoy and do well. You have to enjoy something for a long period of time also. Your favorite movie, think of your favorite movie right now. Do you watch movies? Web series, soch lo, to gana soch, kuch bhi, anything, one favorite thing. But if I make you do that for 7 months, will you end up liking it? There has to be, so for example, if you're watching a web series, you only look forward to those seasons which you liked, no? There has to be an interest in it. Only then can one sit and watch. I cannot watch something that I'm not interested in. When I can't watch a movie which I'm not interested in, do you think I can study something for 7 months without having an interest in it? Free tickets also, if I give you to a movie, some animated movie, if you're not a fond of animation, like free tickets chalega, ma'am. Okay, free tickets for some movie that you don't like and free tickets for a movie that you like. Both free tickets. Which one would you go for? There's no doubt about it. Yeah, but free tickets, someone like me who I'm really short on time because I'm doing 100 things at a time. You give me free tickets for a movie that I don't like, I won't go. Yeah, as kids, as students, of course, I can understand. Dekh lenge, free mein hai, as long as it's for free. But also don't get caught in this free thing. There is nothing free. There is a price that you pay for it. Price in this case will be time. And you will be bored. And you will be like, isse acha to so jate, maybe. I don't know. If you're fond of sleeping, catching up. Yeah, I love you all, seriously, because you're interesting to match with mine, maths, sleeping. At least 2 we have decided. Maybe we can find more commonalities that bind us together. Having said that, see linear again, linear there. So this becomes your section A. Your section B begins with the PDE. My whole task here is, look at this. What is this DE standing for? That was ordinary, and this is not so ordinary. It's partial. So what does that mean? What is ordinary derivative? What is partial derivative? That will be covered in calculus. What is dy by dx? And what is the meaning of del y by del x? Once you understand that, you understand what you study in OD and you understand what you study in PD. Is that clear? The next topic here, after PD, what comes here? Numerical analysis and computer programming. Don't be fooled by this. There's hardly any computers here. Believe me, I am not a very tech-savvy person. Computer programming here is conversion of numbers from Boolean to hexadecimal to... It's very simple. If I give you homework today, आज से ही दे दे homework. नहीं भी बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे कई बच्चे. तो एक 5 मिनट का होमवर्क घर जाके सर्च कर लेना, कन्वर्जन्स कैसे करते हैं, तो एक टेक्निक होती है नो, ऑक्टल से डेसिमल, डेसिमल से वो एवरीबॉडी, एंड आई तो कीप फॉरगेटिंग इट टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट। तो मैं बार बार देखती हूँ कि अच्छा हाँ ऐसे करते थे, इट्स नॉट वेरी something that I do on a daily basis, you know. I can't forget modern algebra. You ask me even when I'm sleeping, I'll be okay, but you ask me convergence, I'm like, yeah, let's just search, you know. And so you are my live calculators, by the way. When once you get enrolled in my class, I have about 200 plus calculators sitting here. So you will do my calculations. What is 19 multiplied by 17? I'm not going to do it, and you're not here to look at my calculations. Calculations तो तुम खुद कर सकते हो ना. Calculator भी allowed है, वो भी scientific. Scientific calculator is allowed. Oh yeah, non-programmable. So we don't have to be great at calculations or Vedic maths or anything like that, but smart use of calculator. So 2 homeworks that I can give actually is learn how to use a scientific calculator to the fullest. Like know all the, like for example, when you carry a particular phone, like people say, like do have an iPhone, but they say you don't know half the features of it, and I agree. Like for example, I learned that I can scan my documents using a phone, and that was such an eye opener for me. I've been telling people about it, and people like, we knew this 20 years pehle, and I'm like, yeah, but I learned it now. You know, just appreciate that I've learned it on my own, but having said that, I don't know half the features of my phone. We're just carrying something in our hand, you know. And so calculator can't be like that. Know the calculator like the back of your hand in the next 15 days. You have about 10, 12 days before you start your journey. You will not get time after that. Every day there'll be homework and all. So get a calculator, non-programmable. You will need it. Learn it through YouTube videos, Google it, learn it yourself. Read that. There's a brochure sort of a thing that comes with it, no? When you buy something. It's supposed to be read, not just saved for future. Kabhi zarurat padegi. I have, for example, all my ACs and fridge and sabka pada hai. I've never read it. Every time something goes wrong with it, I call somebody to repair it. I never read it and do anything about it. But please learn how to use a calculator. It will be very, very helpful to you. And so that is a portion of computer programming. Some amount of programs are also there, but whatever you learn in numerical analysis, Newton-Raphson method, basic, what else? Bisection method, Gauss-Seidel, Gauss-Jacobi. All these Gauss-Seidel, Gauss-Jacobi are also system of equations only. You know, like, so the program for it you can learn in this. And then there is another physics topic to answer your question. This is fluid dynamics and some amount of more physics. So again, 2 topics here, but 1 out of 7. So 7 topics here and 6 topics here. Total 13 topics. 13 is my lucky number. I hope it's yours too, ultimately. But so 13 you do in these 2 papers. And please get a detailed view of the syllabus from the website. You can go through Vajiram's website. I've also uploaded a book list and all. Don't be in a hurry to buy any book for anything, no matter who says. Wait, start your journey. See where is the need to buy something more. Take something more. Don't just get everything. Whatever you get, you have to really fully know it. Yes, one thing, like I said, buy a calculator if you're interested in maths. The calculator, personalize it, learn it, how to use it. You should be comfortable with it. Okay, which button, how do you convert degree to radian, radian to degree, how do you store the answer? Everything else, like your presentation and all, we will be working in the class. Like I said, I will be working on the content, what you have to write, how you have to write is a very integral part of my. So answer writing, you know, like a gimmick, I can say answer writing is being offered to you free. That's how marketing is probably done. But I can only teach maths when I can also teach you or empower you as to how to present it nicely. You can't just learn maths. You have to also learn how to present it. You know, if I know all the math, okay, I asked you one question in the beginning. Did you know of any person who's afraid of maths? You all seem to know at least one person who has always made that. Do you also remember, and we don't want any names here, and I really don't want to, it's not my purpose to insult anyone or demean anyone, but have you had any teacher, especially maths teacher, who like probably intelligent, good, with several degrees, especially in college, but you can't understand what the person is saying? They keep writing. A lot of maths teachers also very patriarchal system, a lot of men. In fact, some people have called here and said, can we talk to the maths sir here? They actually calling in front of me and saying, maths sir nahi hai, ma'am hai. And I don't think gender has anything to do with this subject. But having said that, STEM, of course, the science, tech, engineering, and maths, and it's nothing to do with the gender for sure. But I'm just saying that There are teachers, I'm thinking of tall people, excellent degrees from excellent universities all over the world, yet they didn't make a sense of whatever they were writing. They'll come right on the board. Does that make me understand what maths is all about? No, that in fact makes me not like maths so much. What are they writing? How is it related? I also have to write. It's not like I will not be solving questions, but there'll be a lot of why are we writing it like this? How else can we write? Is there any other way to look at it? What is the reason why we're doing this? And definitely writing it in steps so that we cover a long ground, taking small steps at a time. So that is what is going to be the syllabus. So I would request you to go through the detailed syllabus at home. And of course, once we start the journey, there'll be ups and downs. There'll be topics you'll be good at. There'll be topics you have not heard of. Is there any topic I've written on the board which you have not heard of? Is there anyone who's not heard of even one topic? So now you see why maths you should choose, because it's not like you're unaware of any topic here. Yes, you have not mastered it. Yes, you don't remember it. But are they sounding new to you? Now imagine changing your subject from something that you have a decent interest in and you've studied in college to a subject you've never done in your life. If you're an engineer, for example, can I have a show of hands? How many engineering students are here? Okay. So you're engineering students. Have you studied history, for example, or geography in college or something like that? Now, I am not naming the subjects, but if you change from here to there, will you know anything in the syllabus or will you have to learn everything? And you're competing with people probably who have an honors degree in that subject. I'm not saying honors teaches you everything. Honors people, can you show me hands? Anybody from, do we know everything in maths? Nobody knows everything. So good. Yeah, so there is a healthy mix always because of experience. I know there'll be engineering and non-engineering. Nobody is in a better position because engineering students don't know some things, maybe like group theory you've not studied, maybe. Yeah. But non-engineer, the honors students have not studied as much PD as engineering people would have, or maybe some calculus also. There's a lot of things that there's. So I don't take it for granted. I will never, ever in my class, you'll never hear me saying, this you must have done in college. I will say this is school level. If you've forgotten, go back home and revise. Revise right now only matrices, determinants, differentiation, integration. Just that. But revise it thoroughly, as though if tomorrow you were to take a class of some class 12 student, you'll be able to answer their doubts. Should I send class 12 students to you? Not on a paid basis. Don't start thinking, okay, maybe we can earn some money. No. For free, if I tell you to teach somebody and you'll be able to answer their doubts, that level of understanding of school topics is definitely a must to understand anything that we're going to do. And in my classes, I will be able to tell you that, next week we need this, start revising. And basic of matrices, so we'll do in the class only. My first question to everyone in the class is going to be, what is a matrix? Can you someone answer right now? Whenever I was saying matrices, everybody was nodding. If I ask you, how do you add two matrices, do you remember? A lot of yes, ma'am. Tell me, what is a matrix? Yes. Anybody else? What is a matrix? Some rows and columns. So arrangement of numbers in rows and columns. Why do we need rows and columns? Give me some practical use of a matrix. So that is how basic my class is going to be. Because I'm going to tell you, okay, you are roll number 1, you are roll number 2, roll number 3, and I've taken test 1, test 2, test 3. If I don't represent this data in a matrix form, if I represent your data, so roll number 1 in the first test had an 8, then he had a 9, then he had a 7. Looking at the first row, I'm able to see his performance in various tests. While when I look at in a column, I can see this person has got an 8, this has got a 7, this has got an 8. What is the average performance, say, in test 1 of all the people? But imagine if this data is not written in a matrix form, it is written in different pages. Test 1, test 2, test 3. Will a comparison be possible? No. So we need arrangement. The Excel sheet that you must have seen, don't even ask me how I know that. I have not used it, but I know what an Excel sheet is. Have you seen an Excel sheet? Yeah. Your expenditures, if you're trying to, for example, tabulate. Every month I write down my expenditures, but I write month-wise, so I can never see how much more I'm spending this year. But now if you want to make a comparison, grocery this month, then grocery next month, you write next to it now so that the comparison is possible. Or you write below it, there is a particular, but our expenditures are not just grocery, there are other things also. So you need a matrix, arrangement of numbers in rows and columns. which determines, say, the size of the matrix, and it helps us to do so many more things. There's an application for everything in maths. We don't have to always touch the application, but at least it's interesting to know, oh, this is where it comes useful or handy. Is that clear? So syllabus outline, why you should choose maths. Of course, it is very scoring, like 300 plus is a very, very good possibility. I have seen people getting, and with not, it is a humongous syllabus, but it's not difficult. It is just an average level paper. Like I've prepared people for Delhi University and universities abroad in my stint as a teacher. And some of the exams people have appeared for are very tough, This is not tough at all. It's very moderate level. It's like a college person can understand that it's that level. It's not difficult. It is just a lot of things together. So what I used to teach in 3 years in college has to be done in 7 months. And without compromising on the basics. So it is a task to also be able to reproduce that much in practice, and of course a lot of other things, but then we'll discuss it once the classes begin. Is that clear? Any other doubt anyone has? Yes. 100%. In my answer writing, like I told you, I was giving it for free, but my answer writing is, so I go for rounds to see how you're writing. And I can tell you, you can improve, so marks, how the marks are allocated. For example, out of 10, if I have to score, okay, I look at your answer. Suppose it was a very direct question like solve or find. I say questions solve this equation or find the rank, find whatever, find the moment of inertia. What an examiner will do is first go through it, look at the final answer. If your final answer, for example, solve for the value of x, सिंपल लेके चलते हैं. तो अगर आंसर 2 आना चाहिए था और तुमने 2 लिखा हुआ है, if your answer has to be 2 and you've written a 2, then he'll put a tick mark. See, human beings are checking your answer sheets. When something is correct, I can't put a cross. Can I? अगर correct है तो wrong तो नहीं लिख सकती ना मैं. I'll have to put a tick. Tick does not mean you get a 10 on 10. After putting a tick, the person will go through your presentation. If your presentation is very shabby, which it is for most of the people in the beginning, it's horrendous to check what people write in the beginning, because what you write is you communicating with the examiner. When I'm talking to you, you are sometimes nodding. Examiner, when he's looking at your answer sheet, should also do, yes, you have written this. Yes, you have written this. When you make everything just one sort of a convoluted sort of a manner, you have written, nothing is direct, no steps written, no nothing. Examiner can't understand only what is happening. Then he will not give you a 10 on 10. But you've written in steps, if you have done all the things, like when you say integrating, now let us find, and what you have found, you have made a box out of steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. He can then give you a 10 on 10. But otherwise, he can give you anything between 5 to 10. Yeah, so I will answer that scaling question also, but I will say it in very brief because I've taken a lot of time to explain things that are not transparent are not our business. Chance, scaling, all this is really, can we think about scaling while we are solving the paper in 3 hours? Do you think my people who are writing mains this year, in 3 hours, they'll also be calculating, 0.7 ka scaling ho raha hai, to mera marks itna aayega. Will they do it in the exam? I'm preparing you to be in the exam hall empowered. What happens after that is none of your business, and it's not in my control also. But what you call as scaling, I call as people don't even know. They are thinking answer to 2 आया है. आंसर की में भी आंसर 2 लिखा है मैम ने. चलो 20 on 20 आ गए हमारे यहाँ पे. मिल जाएंगे 20 on 20 ऐसे ही. To write anything and you get a full mark. You get anywhere from 50% of the marks to full marks. For full marks, you need perfect presentation, which is part and parcel of how I teach. Because if I can't teach you how to write, then what I'm teaching you is not going to make any difference to you. Is that clear to all of you? However, if your answer is 4 and it was supposed to be 2, there is also stringent marking for easy questions. If the answer you've got is 4 and the answer was supposed to be 2, he'll put a cross. Does not mean he'll give you a 0. And your presentation is excellent. And because of your steps, he finds the mistake has been done just right here. Or if the mistake is done right in the beginning, question hi galat copy kiya. And do you think that doesn't happen? Even if the question is printed here. all of you looking so confident and so sweet to have freshers, because when I talk to your seniors, they know कि उनसे भी गलतियां हुई हैं. तुम लोग अरे हम नहीं करते man. What are you saying? Copying mistake? Really? इतने डफर भी होते हैं बच्चे? होते हैं. मुझसे हो जाती है गलती. तो ये x to the power 4 plus 3x cube y plus something something लिखा है. कॉपी करते वक्त ये 2x cube हो गया, या यहाँ स्क्वायर था और यहाँ 3 था, तो ये 2 हो गया और ये 3 हो. Okay, I love the confidence of some of the freshers. They're like, some people, you know, you don't know in the exam what happens. Your eyes, your mind, your focus, your expectation. Some people always want to see symmetry. For example, let me write down something. I write down a x4. Does it remind you of some formula? X, yeah. So this is square, this is being squared, this is a 2ab. Yeah, you know, you're expecting like that. So for example, if I'd written an x square plus y square plus 2x, what are you expecting? Tell me. What is your expectation? What am I going to write here? Y. But if I write a y square, then you're like, square thodi na ho sakta hai. Ye kaise likhte? What is it? Our mind also plays tricks while we're doing so much maths together, and there is pressure. It's not easy. There's going to be calculation mistake. In a matrix, 4 cross 4 that is given, first entry written is 1. The second entry written is 0. In the table that you are copying, this becomes a 10 because the 0 kind of shifted there. And I swear I've told this to myself, how did the 0 come here, Bhavna? What are you doing? I don't know what I was thinking of, and I've done my share of calculation mistakes, and I'm candidly accepting this is where it goes wrong. And people don't accept it. They're like, nahi, hua hi nahi hoga mere se to ye galti. So scaling and all, at least in maths now, leave it to them. It's not our business. My work is to make sure you reach the examination hall empowered to get a 300 plus. And if you're in the top 10% with a 300 plus, with or without scaling, then your job is done, na? होने के बाद थोड़ी ना कोई क्रिप करने वाला है about scaling के बावजूद people have got marks, no? So if they can get it, you have to be in the top 1%. With or without scaling, it doesn't matter. Is that clear? Yeah. So when you get a, to complete my sentence, when you get a 4, the answer is not matching, he puts a 0 cross, does not mean he gives a 0. He gives you anywhere between 0 to 5. You can still get 5. What is better, 0 out of 10 or 5 out of 10? So answer writing helps you even in the questions that you make a mistake in. It's not just about getting full marks in the questions you're attempting nicely. जो देखो हमें अच्छे से आता है वो तो हम अच्छे से लिख के आएंगे. इसमें तो कोई doubt नहीं है ना. When you're sure of something, we're going to write it 100% nicely, properly. So many solved questions come. Look at the videos I've made in the past, last year paper, so many questions directly from the booklets. If you have solved it, will you make a mistake in it? Obviously not. But even if there is a careless mistake happening, or you don't know the question, or you're making an attempt, this is a competition exam. You are targeting only about getting a 60% here. You know, your target is not to get 100%. So that 60% you focus on is going to help you get the marks that you're looking for. Am I making sense to all of you? So this still gives you some marks. So even if I don't go by 5, even if you get a 2, तुम्हारा तो गलत ही होने वाला था ना. तुम्हें in 3-4 questions that you have made a mistake in, instead of getting a 0-0-0, you get a 2 and a 3 and a 2 and a 4. 10 marks का फर्क पड़ जाएगा. Is 10 marks a little bit or a lot? Thank God you're catching my expressions also should be a little more neutral. In the beginning in the class, they will be. I will not give away my answers. This is a webinar. So I am doing it a very... sometimes I'll just ask you, is it more, is it less? People will give all sorts of answers. And then you will see that this is not logic. You'll have to move very, very logically. So theorems are going to be a game changer because there are about 3 to 4 theorems that come in the exam. People are petrified of the theorems. And believe me, theorems are the easiest because you can't make a calculation mistake with it. And the checking is very lenient because ultimately you have to write hence proved. You have to only know how it has been proved, you know. But nobody is checking 1 second here. Overall, it should be okay. If you've been able to prove it. I love the question, say prove it, because hence proof to likh do na, kam se kam. Prove kar hi denge. Prove karo ki aisa ho raha hai. हाँ, zarur. Don't argue with the examiner. I remember my kid when he was in first class, the first or second, I don't remember also now. But the teacher said, prove that this is not a prime number or any such question. He did the opposite. He said, no, It is not. So I told him, at least question padho is saying it is. He said, but how do you know teacher is correct? Today's generation wants to argue about everything. So I told him, okay, fine, thank you. I am not teaching you anymore. You study from your teacher only. Eat her head. My head is being eaten up by my own students, so it's okay. I can dedicate my time here, because you cannot really question prove. And they say prove it. You take it for granted. You please agree and say, oh, now we'll prove it. But how? So theorems will be very, very interesting, very logical. Not a single cramming step, and that's a lot of commitment I'm making. Not a single cramming step, but a lot of direction. कौन सी चीजों को कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन से प्रूव करते हैं और क्यों? इसको कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन से क्यों प्रूव कर रहे हैं? इसमें ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्या लॉजिक है? What is the purpose behind it? So you have to be very far-sighted. You have to know how to get the theorems in your pocket. Those 3-4 theorems that come in the exam, and you write them confidently, they're going to be the game changer. They come in modern algebra. They come in linear algebra. They have asked theorems even in ODE. They have asked theorems in real analysis. So a lot of topics where theorems can come, do come, And so theorems, the key word is theory and theorems. So if you want to know how many, so about 20 to 30% is theoretical, remaining is applications, but this is students' language. For me, maths is not theory or applications. Maths is pure bliss. It is so logical. If you get a hang of it, like I said, if you once understand what a group is, hota kya hai, ye group kya hai, once you understand it, you can never ever forget it. It's not like आज याद किया कल भूल गए, है ना? कोई डेट्स याद करते हैं, इंडिपेंडेंस कब मिली थी हमें? मैं बहुत आसान क्वेश्चंस पूछ रही हूँ ना, तो क्योंकि मुझे थोड़ा ना रॉन्ग आंसर्स चाहिए अभी, बट तुमने कुछ याद किया कल, वो परसों भूल गए, ये कब हुआ था, वो कब हुआ था, वो भूल सकते हैं. पर अगर एक बार यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट अ ग्रुप इज, लाइक यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट अ मैट्रिक्स इज, अरेंजमेंट, एवरी टाइम यू सी एन अरेंजमेंट तुम्हें मैट्रिक्स की याद आएगी. Cars lined up in a row, cars lined up in a column, anything that you see, you start looking at it mathematically. The chairs right now, हम कहाँ चले गए? सोचो मैट्रिक्स का एग्जांपल, ये chairs भी तो है ना. ये स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स लग रहा है मुझे, तुम्हें लग रहा है किसी को? तो स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स, ऑलमोस्ट स्क्वायर, वो एक चेयर को इग्नोर करते हैं. दिख गई मुझे, अभी भी दिखी है, बट ये भी एक स्क्वायर मैट्रिक्स है ऑलमोस्ट, बिकॉज द थिंग दैट आई कैन. सो मैट्रिसेस हर जगह पे, इफ यू स्टार्ट लुकिंग, इफ यू फाइंड थिंग्स हैपनिंग, then it is pure joy and bliss to study if you have a passion for it. But it's not, shortcuts नहीं है मेरे पास. सब कुछ मैं सॉल्व नहीं करके दूंगी. Are you here to get everything solved by me? Well, we can do that. Then sit at home, give me 6 months, I'll just keep solving, sharing it with you. I have to teach you, na? You have to do it. You are not coming here for calculations. I am getting you here so that you can do my calculations. So please do whatever calculations we have to do, and find the adjoint, find the inverse. I'm not finding the inverses of matrices for you on the board. I'm not going to find determinants, for example. Do you want me to find determinants of every matrix, ma'am? And if I say 4 cross 4 matrix, maybe you've only done till 3 cross 3, but I'll only tell you, listen, 4 cross 4 का भी वही logic होता है जो 3 cross 3 का होता है. Try करो. Maximum what will happen, you'll make a mistake. Are you here to be perfect, or are you here to learn from your mistakes? So you will do mistakes only, then I am important, na? If you know everything, then why do you need someone? You need someone because you are ready to make mistakes, but you have to have someone who can instill the discipline that's required, the focus that is required, the smart work. Don't solve Gallian. Don't solve entire books. Follow. I know. I know. I don't know the paper. I know what it takes to crack the paper. Yeah? But you'll have to crack it. Success ratio of this exam, any which ways, if there are 100 students, do all the 100 clear prelims? My work comes only after you've cleared prelims also. So I can't tell you, my heart goes out to people who got a 300 plus score in maths and they're not in services right now. Nobody's talking about them because they're not in services. Ultimately, these many people, that to top, everybody is talking about top 10, top 100. That's what the focus is also, actually, apparently, no? Unfortunate. But I can vouch for one thing, very honestly and diligently, the love for the subject. If you have a lot of love, it will be maintained. If you have a liking, I'll make sure it will develop into a full throttle love, And that'll give you the logical abilities that you require to do everything. Maths also helps us in that, it gives you the logical ability, it gives you focus, it tells you how to work hard, it also gives you that resilience. एक बार में नहीं आते हैं answers, पर आते हैं. There's a lot of optimism in maths, I think. Okay, I love my subject, as you can see it. I can go on and on about it. If you have any doubt, you can please ask. I think online I've taken all doubts. If anything is pending, yeah, one person, Arnav's doubt. Anuj, if you are doing it with me, I will begin with linear algebra. Then I'll go to modern algebra. Then I go to OD. Then I go to PD. So there is a specific way in which I go. However, maths is kind of cyclic. You can start from any basic and go. Yeah, so Arnav, to answer your doubt, see, between civil and mathematics, well, I'm not an expert at civil, but I can definitely say that you should also see if you have guidance available in something, because this is not a journey you can do overnight or on your own. So, and I think maths gives you that, I mean, it's very difficult for me to answer that question. Between civil and maths, what should I choose? Well, between maths and anything, what should you choose? If you come to me, will I say, please choose something else? Will I? That not do, I am an expert at my subject. I'll be able to tell you the pros and cons, goods and bads of my paper. But I genuinely do feel maths gives us a break from the monotony of GS sometimes. It is also very tangible success. You can see your growth. You can see how well you're writing now as compared to when you joined. So I don't know if I've answered your question or put you more in doubt, but I ask me, I'll say maths. But the decision has to be taken by you. Yes, you have a doubt? Okay, so the booklets that I have developed are actually only for the foundational course. They are not for, they are either for people, for example, this year people are clearly clearing the prelims. Then when they come to me and they're like, ma'am, we don't know this, you don't. I asked them, why didn't you join foundation? And they regret it, to be very honest. But at that point of time, I share my booklets even with my test series students. But in 2-3 months, they can't do everything. So unfortunately, the material that is developed is for the classroom program. And I also know outside sources where you can get it from. Believe me, when I update my notes, only my own current students get to take it. And people who come, people who were my students last year, when they come and meet me and they cleared prelims, and then I share it with them. So the notes and everything that we do in the class, notes, no matter how well they are written, can only be 50%, because I have written them, only I can explain them what it means to write this here. So everything is only for the foundation course people. But foundation course people, if you clear prelims in the year that you have enrolled for example, if you enroll now and you clear the prelims next year, then you don't have to pay anything more for test series, then you for any other thing, because then you're my own continuing students. No, then those are the kind of people I was meeting today before my webinar. Because if they're clearing, then you can't keep paying for everything, And once you pay up for the foundation, you get it, you get the booklets, the updated ones, you get the 7 months classes, you do get a lot of hand holding. A lot of students who are keen, they write their answers and give it to me. There are also class tests included in this, which are evaluated and returned with feedback. That only helps you to prepare. ना बुकलेट से कैसे पता चलेगा कि तुम्हें समझ में भी आया what was the meaning of or how I want you to attempt another paper. So some class tests are included, class assignments are checked. All that is only for the fund. So it is a one-stop solution in that sense. I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, but what else can I say? I mean, booklets, maybe you can get it from any other source, but will they be updated? Will a test be included? Will you get a feedback about how you can write it better? There's no one unique way of doing it. So I would seriously urge you to think. And if there are any other concerns you may have, you can meet me after this thing. So like you asked, yes, some tests are included. And I love how confidently freshers ask me, how many tests? Well, my third test that happened with my current batch, 3 people gave out of some 300. You have to have time for it. I am ready with the test. You ask me, I'm there to help you. I'll share papers with you. But the point is that, yes, doubt sessions they happen weekly. In fact, one day out of the week is converted into a tutorial. Tutorials are your assignment doubts, anything else that is pending. When I give you assignments or when I give you homework as PYQs, I end up discussing the PYQs, end of the week or end of the topic. Suppose I take 10 classes to finish linear algebra. 11th day will be announced a week earlier that this particular day we will have a tutorial on linear algebra. So you will carry all your doubts from PYQs, from the booklets. If there's anything else, and apart from this, sometimes, in the class, I also give handouts. Handouts are not printed as booklets. They are my own, like I yesterday night was solving a question and I want to do it with you. I'll get it photocopied and share it with you that you have it. Now let's do it in the class. There's some workbook kind of handouts that can be given. Can be given. I have to see what is the need of my class. It's not the same lecture that is rehearsed and given to every year. It depends on who my people are. I call them my tribe, but that we can come to when you have first enroll yourself, because we have to be on the same page as what is the expectation. See, I am in your team. You have to be a team player for it, no? So once you enroll for foundation, then you are there for long. There is a separate, like a crash course that can happen in December. There's a test series that happens. But apart from everything, I think foundation covers everything, no, basically. So test series is tests. Then I take some classes also, and you get booklets, but I can't teach you possibly everything. Whereas where are you lacking? How will you know it in the beginning? You will only know when you do the entire journey. Okay, so you'll have doubt sessions regularly for sure. That's no. Then assignments are solved sometimes by my class students. That is uploaded on the portal in your hand. You are responsible for solving the entire assignment. You'll get it checked by me, and then I'll upload it on your behalf, shared by so and so, so that there is a sense of camaraderie between the people and there's a sense of cooperation. Like I see a lot of my students sitting on the stairs and solving each other's doubts. And I know they are my people. Like, the only maths people can solve doubts for each other and solving and telling. And so there's a lot of, and that is important. 7 months, you cannot be in isolation. So there is this sense of accountability also that happens and everything. So yeah. Any other doubt anyone has? Yes. So results, I mean, I'm not here trying to advertise about the results, but people in the past have done well. And the idea of how many people. So this is another thing I was going to say. A few years ago, topper from maths, so everybody wants to take maths. Now there is no topper from maths. Topper is one person. Every optional gets a representation. But when you come to mains, you have to clear the prelims. You have to do well. And I know people who've got 300 plus, like I told you, and are not in services. People who got 250 and they're in services right now with a proper rank and all. But here, does that matter? Well, they have learned those strategies on their own, developed it with the guidance. So I'm not going to here talk about anything like that. But yeah, that could be a separate, yes.
We start with maths, but then eventually they leave it midway. And then we also say that, like, I'm from IIT, but I left it midway, don't take maths. They don't discourage, but what is the reason?
How many people have you spoken to? 2, 3. Now that answers your doubt, isn't it? By chance, you've come across these people who have left maths in between, and they discourage you. Well, people discourage you from doing everything. I mean, today I want to do a particular thing. I Google, is this good for health? There'll be some people who will say good. There'll some people who will say bad. If I come across 2 websites which are saying bad, then I'll be like, oh, drop it. It might be very good. So I think what is important is to learn, of course, from each other and everything, but use your own brains. There is a, like, All India rank 1 from maths in the past. Is that person discouraging you? If you just watch his videos, will he say don't do maths? Will I say don't do maths? So to answer your question, the people who begin and don't end were not the right candidates for it in the beginning. They didn't have the passion, interest, and the hard work that is required. But I also know one person, I will not name the optional. Please edit it if I name it, okay? Because I've been naming it, but I don't mean to name and demean anybody. But I know of a person who started with a particular optional 1 year, next year she changed to something else, third year she changed to something else, and the attempts are over. So there are all sorts of people you will come across. Go find a person who likes this, you will find it. Go find a person who dislikes it, you will find them also. So find your people. The previous batch, anybody you ask them, will they discourage you? There's tens of people who were there to meet me personally, and even after this thing. Will they discourage you? They have finished their course, they've done well. In my test, they are getting 200 out of 250. I'm trying to deduct their marks. मुझे लगता है कि ज़्यादा मत दे दो, बच्चे सर चढ़ जाते हैं, so you have to cut marks. I can't find places where I can cut marks. They are written so beautifully. Some of the answer sheets, when I share with you sample sheets, you will be, I am pleasantly surprised is a very mild way of putting it. I get so happy when they write so beautifully. And I'm not saying they will get 200 because this is a sectional test or a topic test or two topics together, but they're doing exceptionally well in that. Will they discourage you? Find your people, find your voice first. And it's not so easy. I didn't know in my first year what I wanted to be. So, to be honest, like I said, I've been teaching for 22 years. This year I'll complete 23. I hope my calculations are right. I've been thinking, but, and till class 12, my first year, my second year, beginning of second year tak, if people were asking me, it's a common question by relatives, no, what do you want to do? No, your relatives have not asked you. You're blessed with good relatives. They're still asking you. Thank you. But my relatives used to ask me, what do you want to do? Okay. So you know what my answer was? I will never be a teacher. Because I had a lot of school teachers in my family, and people used to think it's an easy job and it's good for girls. And a lot of times now also when I share with people what I do, I tell them I teach. They ask me the first question, which school? Then I say, no, I don't teach in a school. They say, which college? Oh, you teach in a college? I'm like, no, I don't teach in a college anymore. Oh, that maths they can't even imagine, So when I said I don't want to be a teacher, I thought people are going to bracket me in a particular way and think of me as I have utmost respect. If there's one profession I have respect for, is school teachers. I mean, I can't handle my own single child in the house. Imagine 30 of them from other people and handling them and taking care of them and the noise. But I'll just come to you. But I said I will never be a teacher. You know why? Because people around me were putting these things and asan hote hain. I didn't want to do asan thing. I wanted to be tough. Yes, I chose maths. It turned out to be quite tough, but I wanted to do something different. But I didn't want to be a teacher for sure. And like I said, never say never. It turned out to be the most beautiful decision I've taken in my life. I mean, it is what makes me get up in the morning and come here, no matter what. So today I've been beaming with joy since the time I've come to the institute because I've come after a bit of a break, because that's much how I love my job. But would you find people who will say be a maths teacher? There'll be so many who will say don't do this, especially in coaching. The kind of timings we have, Sunday working, Diwali break is 2 days. Let me prepare you for all that, And extreme situation when I'm not well, only then I take a break. Otherwise, every day, rigorous, hard work. So are there a lot of people who are telling people to be a maths teacher in a coaching institute? But has it worked out for me? It has, beautifully. So I would say it is the best decision of my life. And I don't regret it a bit. So find your voice. And you may not know it in the beginning. So it's okay for people to change midway. Leave it. It's not okay for them to discourage you. They're doing it out of whatever their inadequacies are. You don't have to accept it. Question, try, experiment. Life is experimenting a bit, not too much. Don't take drastic experimentation, but with some amount of basics in your mind, you should not let others influence you too much. Not even me. Don't agree with my assessment. You assess it for yourself. Write on the pros and get a print out of the syllabus. Look at the syllabus, start revising the basics, see how interested you are. Try it out and then see. You were asking me a question? The scaling, like I said, is it has to be there because humanities people cannot expect to get a 350. Maths people can get a 350 because they're written so beautifully. Some sheets I'll show you and I'll tell you, get me a mistake in this. Sometimes I do that. I give it to a senior student and I say, please find some mistake. I can't keep giving so many marks. It is just unbelievable. 220 out of 250 आ रहे हैं इस बच्चे के. तो ये तो मैं कैसे स्केल करूं? तो फिर this 220 in maths, if you're getting, then they scale it down by my assessment. I'm not an expert and I don't know, but I think maximum to maximum 50 marks they cut across the board. Either they do strict checking, they don't give you a 10 on 10, they're just giving you 8 on 10 being the highest. When I checked some of the sheets, which were some humanities maths portion and some humanities thing, statistics to be precise, and in the beginning of my career, I was told out of 20, don't give more than 11. 11 ke upar to dena hi nahi hai marks in a humanities subject. But in maths, if you've written beautifully, if you've written exceptional, everything is correct. So then what they do, they give the marks and then they do a little bit of downgrading, but that downgrading is done across the board. If you're getting a 350 and after scaling you're getting a 300. But if you're getting 100, then after scaling, before scaling, you were not going to get through the paper. So scaling matters to only people who are right now thinking, what if you are on the borderline? But if you prepare for borderline, that is where you will be. You have to prepare for being in the top 1%. Before scaling, you are top 1%. After scaling also, you will be top 1%. Score will not then matter. What will matter is the bracket in which you belong. So scaling, you can check videos if you want to and waste your time. I will always discourage you from trying to find out things which we are not sure of. Well, we can do it for fun, but we don't really have the time once the classes begin. तो अगले 10-12 दिन जितना पढ़ना है सुनना है informed decision, क्योंकि once you get on the wagon, there is stepping down possible, but if you keep stepping down every wagon because it becomes a little tough, the journey can become tough in every optional. Which optional is easy? Anything that is easy. We will all go there only. I'll also learn that subject for 2 years and start teaching that only then. No. Tell me which optional is sure shot. ऑल इंडिया वन रैंक 1 to 10 कौन सा ऑप्शनल निकालने वाला है इस साल बता दो, हम सब ब्रेक लेते हैं, मैं पढ़ती हूँ वो, क्योंकि फिर देन आई विल टीच टू माई, इज इट पॉसिबल? सो I know these doubts arise in your mind. Write down your question and see, can anyone give you an honest answer for that? कोई optional है जो बहुत आसान है? Any teacher who will stand here at the podium and say my optional is very easy? तो फिर easy है तो जरूरत क्या है? और very difficult? Everybody will try and say there are difficulties here. Good things in other optionals, sometimes they say is overlap. For maths people, thank God there is no overlap, because at least it gives you a break from बहुत सारा आज याद किया, बहुत सारा case studies and all. Let's do some maths. For maths, for some people have used these words called relaxed होता है maths करके, खुशी मिलती है. We're very happy when we're doing maths. We're very relaxed, we are focused because it's tangible. End of the day, answer aa gaya. We know we have written it correctly, so we feel very proud and confident. It is a way of looking at things. Okay, so maths is not everybody's cup of tea, but maths is what it was always. That's why you're here. Is that okay? Right. So there is no clear answer for that, but the idea is also that we are not preparing for scaling, and that's why we are writing in a particular way. We write the best possible way. When I present an answer, I'm thinking nobody can cut, nobody. I dare anybody to come and cut even half a mark in a perfectly presented answer that I write. Anybody in the world, not just coaching industry, UPSC, anybody in the world, if I am saying with that surety, then how can I not get good marks in that? No. But for every question, we can't get that expertise, of course, in the paper because there's lack of time, and there's some element of surprise every year. But having said that, it's still in a very good position, commanding position to get you the score or the rank that you want. Yeah. Any other doubt anyone has? Yes. Everybody?
And mostly heard it from the teachers also and from the toppers who volunteer.
Yeah. So see what happens when I do in my class. So there is this class. First revision happens the day of the class only, because you go back home and revise. Then there is, say, a monthly revision that happens. You know, like 2 topics together. So that becomes your revision 2. Then maybe a class test is coming up. Class test is not topic wise. It is, say, 2-3 topics together. So in June we start. Let's say September, I have another test coming up for you. So whatever we do from June to September will be included. That is where you revise for the second time. Then your course gets over in 7 months. It's about January that we're looking at, mid of January, give or take plus minus 5-10 days. But mid of January, it gets over. That is 1 revision, 2 revisions already have happened. Yeah? The 3rd revision can happen till March, because your exam is going to be somewhere in May. Then when you are clearing the prelims, the energy is so high, people outside, 3 more revisions happen after you have cleared the prelims. This is a 1-year journey. 1 year. In general, please be prepared for 2 to 3 years that you're going to devote to your UPSC preparation. I know there are people who do it in 1 go. How many? Everybody. Or are you looking at the same person 10 times? Not everybody. This year's topper took 5 attempts. So many people who take 5 attempts, 6 attempts, 3 attempts, 4 attempts. Yes, there are people who do it in 1. Are you coming with 1 attempt in mind? 1 year only I'm giving for this journey? No, please have a 2 to 3 year time period. In that, if this is 1 year, imagine in 2 years, 3 years, how many times more you can revision. That's why there's a year-long test series program. For it's like a support later. You don't have to enroll in that. You can do it yourself. But I'm just saying that time also revision is happening. Then classes have got over. See, right now most of your time goes in attending the classes also, no? When there are no classes, then revision can happen faster. So if you do a course for 7 months, the first revision, complete revision, after the classes get over, happens in 3 months. That is from January to March. The next revision happens in 1.5 months, because you have to also squeeze it and bring it down to 2 weeks, जो mains के बीच में first 6 weeks and then 4 weeks, and then you finally get 5 days to revise, because there is about a 5 day gap between in your mains date sheet. You can just get 5 days to revise. So you have to keep squeezing it in such a way. So 6 to 7 bare minimum revisions happen automatically if you follow any strategy. Decent strategy of revising the lecture, giving some tests will automatically cover your 6 to 7 revisions. Okay, that is, I mean, I agree with that. 3 revisions after prelims and about 3 before that. Yeah. People who are 2027, when can you join? See, the beauty of maths is it's a static syllabus. I have people who clear the exam don't necessarily have taken coaching that particular year. You know that, right? Because it takes some attempts to reach there. Maths being a static syllabus, you can join as soon as possible. I've had people in their third year join, though I discourage. I personally feel finish your graduation and then join. But there are some people who are in a hurry, and it's not a bad idea or a good idea. It is what works for them. So people as young as being in their third year have joined. Once I had a student who was in first year. It was very difficult to treat him like an adult, because straight out of school. And so I personally feel you finish your college, it also gives you that hard work karne ka wo idea of how much effort and then other issues. So you can join immediately or you can wait. I personally don't like waiting. If you don't have anything else to do, join. No, Pranita, it is not that you're not looking at toppers. There is no phase, there is no trend. Who is the examiner? Who is checking? How are people writing? There are so many factors which are not in our control. I'm not going to comment on that at all. But believe you me when I say that out of 600, 700 seats that you see, you focus only on 100, that also on 10. There are all sorts of optionals that are represented in it. Tomorrow, what happens, we can never say. But there will not be first top 10 ranks from a particular optional any year. Does that ever happen? Will that ever happen? Please say no to this. It will not happen. Statistically not possible that so many optionals and only one optional is successful this year. And how do you know the trend will continue? Trend word itself has ambiguity. Either it can continue or it will change. How do you know next year it will not change? So again, things that are out of our control, I would prohibit you. Slowly and steadily, I will try to inculcate you the habit of not thinking about things that are not in your control. Okay, just concentrate on your work and let the marks do the talking. Finally, your marks, not how others have performed. Samarth, I share whatever changes I've made with my previous batches also, and there are not too many drastic changes. After all, what have I been doing for 23 years? My booklets are and static. No, my booklets are pretty complete. But if there is a change, I share it with my previous people, and I share my email ID. So you're always in that way in touch. Does not mean you write me a mail every day, because I also have limited bandwidth to respond to everybody. But yes, I do share my email ID with people, and so they're in touch. They get the if there are any changes or anything that is happening. Yeah, I will just look at that also. So Samarth, you will get the book. Don't worry about it. This is static syllabus. Most of it does not change at all. If there are minor changes, additions, revisions, I keep sharing it with people. So there's no problem. Yeah. Do you guys have any doubts? Please think about it while I answer some questions. Yeah, Amilesh, because I was not taking YouTube things, there's also on live online. So I was not taking your doubts. No, Om, demo classes are not really a norm here. But you can watch some of the videos I've recorded in the past where I've done some serious teaching. This was more like telling you about what's happening, and but serious teaching also on YouTube. So if you type my name with Vajiram combination, you'll be able to get through. You can watch. So demo class is not possible. Online, there'll be live online, Amalesh, like people are online right now with me, and there is a chat that they can do. So they type their queries or doubts, and I off and on keep looking at it. Okay. There is online, like I said. Topics I've explained, Priyanka. I hope I've answered your question. Shambhavi, architecture background, I'm not sure, but my condition would be if you have done some amount of maths in your college, like I answered. So, Amlesh, I hope I've answered your doubt that when you enroll for your classes, please ask for online or offline. Offline, you come and attend here in person. Online, you get an access from the portal where 7:30 you log in and you are live here in front of me. Like I can see people. Is that okay, Amlesh? Yes, Saurav, I do understand because of COVID only we started online actually. So if you have any inhibitions about traveling due to your health concerns or if you're not from Delhi, then of course online and I will not say, but maybe I will have to say it only that online people, if you switch on your cameras and you're in touch, sometimes I feel they are more connected than even the offline ones. I'm sorry to say that because offline people have to keep shaking up. Online people, some of them are very, very responsive. So the really it's 50% of the work. I do 50%. I do keep looking at my online students, not the YouTube doubts I was taking. One person is so angry that I'm not taking YouTube doubts, that he's writing all sorts of things. But I can't do three things at a time. I can do online and offline. I can't do online, offline, and YouTube. Then you'll tell me be on Snapchat also, be on Twitter also live, and I can't do all that, right? Govind, in my test series for mains, I include about 10 to 12 tests, and year long there is about 22 tests because there's one whole year to do it. Having said that, I can also make that number as 32 to make it more exciting if you want more. But the fact of the matter is, generally, people, even in a year, can't write more than 12 to 15 tests. You have to prepare for so many things that you can't really, don't go by the number, go by the content, go by what you're getting out of it. Online students can share a mail and there is a portal, right? So on portal they upload their doubts, and I also meet you regularly. Believe me, I don't meet you today and not after 10 days. I meet you tomorrow again, so you ask me a doubt. So you can ask me a doubt, and you can talk to someone who was here and for to answer doubts which are sociology. Someone is saying can be completed in 2 to 3 months. Very good, then you can join that. What do you want me to say? I will say, but it is also theoretical. People are then, everybody then can do it in 3 months. There's more competition. Maths, there'll be less people also then attempting with maths. No. And each syllabus has to sort of get a representation. So how do I answer questions like, should I take this topic or maths? What is my answer going to be? Should I choose this optional or maths optional? Do you want me to say that optional? I will always say maths. So I have whole 2 hours I've been talking about how it is useful. Batch will begin from linear algebra and we'll take it as it goes. Okay, speed and accuracy we work on in the class. I take 2.5 hours sometimes to do only 3 theorems. But then I coach you how to write it within 1 hour, then coach you how to write it in 10 minutes, because that's the amount of time you'll have. If you have a correct understanding and enough revisions, you'll be able to do it. No, Amilesh, for test series, like I said, if you have joined foundation, then for tests and some class tests also included, and I'm here, like, know that I have your back, but you have to prepare. Yeah, the effort has to come from you. It's not open for everybody. Yeah, science and bio. No, but if you didn't have maths in school, it's going to be impossible to do maths then, because there's a lot of ground to cover. You can do it, maths can be done, but for learning the subject, competing with others who are doing in school, doing in college, then doing coaching also, you can't really compete. So I don't think it's a good idea that you can choose whatever subject. Of course, that's how engineering students choose humanities papers. There's no dearth of people who change their streams, but is it good for you or not, that you should answer. Is that all? और है notes? यही है बस. Yes. So I said yes to 3 hours of class and 3 hours at home. Yeah. Ma'am, can we do it in 1 hour? Okay, I mean, can we do it only for half? Okay, do it. Then I mean, you're asking the ideal situation, no? And there's always a buffer day also. There is also a test coming up. And that you'll have to do for everything. How to manage everything together is a good question, but I don't really have an answer to it. My hope is that you understand that you can do maths separately because it's a static syllabus. So you do maths, get ready with your optional, and then do GS is the best combo. But people are in a hurry. They want to do GS and they want to do optional, any optional, not just maths. And then they want to enroll for CSAT and then this course and that course. And I ask them their timetable. They're like, okay, 12 and a half hours we are in Vajiram studying something. And we are now, you have to read the newspaper. I know your journey. You have to read the newspaper also. You have to do this also, that also. Tell me, how can I study more? There was a doubt. Somebody said, I'm studying every day for 17 hours. Can you tell me how to study more? You're already studying 17 hours in a day and you're asking me how to study more. You tell me, how do you manage 17 hours? I mean, beyond 10 hours, if I work, I go crazy with the amount of work you have to do. If you do serious effort, can't do more than 10 to 12 hours. Yeah, please be reasonable about yourself. And if you're a superhuman being, then you're not asking me this question only, because I would not advise that. So my advice would always be, please break it. If you've not been preparing anything since your college days about GS or your optional, then take an informed decision. What do you want to do first? You do your GS and then you get a good idea about what subjects are there. But then you also get a break. If you wanted to do maths, then college mein or usme break aa jayega. So my approach has always been, do your optional, get it ready, do your GS, get it ready, and then go and give an attempt. There is 2 to 3 years preparation before one gives the first attempt at times. Look at the decision you have taken to appear for UPSC. Don't do it wearing a rose-colored glasses that I will do my GS also, optional also, CSAT also, this also, that also, current affairs program also I'll join, newspaper reading also. There is a course called newspaper reading. What do you do there? Read a newspaper. I don't know, and I'm sorry if it's sounding funny, but how many courses do you want to join at one point of time and only attend classes from one room to another, one building to another? What about revision? Somebody is actually angry I said 2.5 hours of revision. He's not liking it. He's saying, oh my God. I said, yeah, dude, what do you want me to say? Like, do you want me to say, 3 ghante class attend kar lo, everything ho jayega? I can say that, but is it realistic? You'll have to put in the effort, okay? So please make an informed decision, and it's not just about maths optional, it is about your entire journey. Of course, in specific, I'm only talking about my paper, so please make an informed decision. You have any other doubt? Yes, there are people who have been doing a job. They have been in services and improved their ranks. They are in other services. Somebody who was in Navy or something, I think. And there used to be a problem with some network, and then he used to, message me. So there have been people of all sorts. You come across examples of whatever you want to be. Please start looking at your journey. We can be influenced by others. We can be inspired by others. But ultimately, even our fingers, no two fingers are same. No two hands are not also same. And to people, you want to have the perfect journey. Look at the topper's journey and do exactly, start looking like them, start dressing up like them, do everything they are saying. Is it a guarantee you will go through? So please learn how to listen to yourself, be influenced, be inspired, make informed decisions, do what works for you. If you can only put in 6 hours of work, then please make the decision accordingly. If you think you have taken a break from job and you're ready for the hard work, in your job you were working 12 hours, you're ready to put in 15 hours, take the decision. Okay? But I would also seriously urge you to take care of your mental health along with it, because the pressure is there, the stress is there, competition is there. These are real things. Okay? The burnout is there, and it happens to the best of us. It's not something to be ashamed of. We all are. It is a very stressful journey, and anything is, to be honest. Sooner or later, people realize that you're too young probably to resonate, but the idea behind it is that it's not going to come easy, okay? So I will share my email ID with you also, and in case you want to write me a mail, but don't expect an immediate reply, and don't expect reply for, can you share notes, can you give demo, I can't do all that. Serious questions you have which have not been answered in the webinar, then you can write a mail to me. Actually, maybe you can write a mail to Vajiram for the time being. With the class, I'll share, because I forget that this is really, my email box will be inundated with all sorts of things. So maybe you can write a mail to Vajiram saying that, can you forward it to ma'am? And I'm also available here. Of course, the first batch is beginning from the 12th of June, like I told you, at 7:30. So after that, I'll be available here after the class. So 10 o'clock after 10 o'clock, you can come and meet me in person here, or you can call up and ask them, because we do have one day off sometimes. And so you can ask if you're coming separately and you're not enrolled in this thing, then you can do that. All right. Yes, so this year there will be more batches after June also, because there are people who are writing the exams currently and so on. So all those informations will be shared to you as and when on the website the dates are decided. But there will be more enrollments for the batch that happens later. But like I said, if you know 12th June it's beginning, do you want to start your journey on, say, 12th September, 12th August? What is the logic? Like if you're giving an exam, wait. If you are not sure, okay, still wait. But will 1 month make you more sure of something? Will you attend 1,000 webinars and then make up your mind? Too many choices also, sometimes difficult. So please make an informed decision, and it should not do it in a time bound manner, because your analytical abilities and ability to take decision is also something that's going to be tested sooner or later in the services. So you have to learn how to come to a decision and stick to that. The repercussions are also yours, the advantages are also yours. Make an informed decision, write down the pros and cons. Yes, there'll be batches after 12th June. I'll be updating the dates only once I have finalized them, but there will be more admissions that happen. Okay, have I answered all doubts? I hope nothing is pending. Recordings are available for 3 days. Yeah, I think I've answered all doubts. Right? So, all right, so I'll take your leave, and I hope to see some of you, most of you, all of you, whatever, in the classes that are beginning, and hopefully it'll be a beginning of an interesting journey, more fruitful and very rewarding, proportional to the amount of hard work you're ready to put in, of course, but you'll have all my guidance and support to the best of my abilities. Okay. All right, thank you. It was lovely interacting with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.